Chapter 1503. 1503 1503. How? How is this possible? A 7th level profound void tier vicious beast cub. It actually... At this moment, in a room thousands of meters away from the holy tree, He-Feng, who was in a sorry state, saw the scene on the screen, and a shocked expression appeared on his face. Even the clan leader of the He clan, who was standing by the side, was slightly moved. The He clan only had 8 level 7 profound void martial experts, and this didn't include the Forest Fairy clan. The Forest Fairy clan was prepared to say that they didn't belong to the He clan, but to the holy tree. In other words, the He clan couldn't order the Forest Fairy clan, but if someone attacked the He clan's forest, the Forest Fairy would have to act and resist the enemy. Every level 7 see-through expert was extremely precious to the He clan. Now, Wang Xian had actually gifted a level 7 see-through level ferocious beast cub. With the strength of the He clan, they could definitely nurture it to level 7 see-through level. In other words, the He clan's forest had increased the strength of a level 7 see-through level expert. One had to know that a level 7 see-through level expert could create a second-rate force. Such a treasure was not something that could be bought with spirit stones. Husband, what is the identity of this young man? The woman at the side looked at the scene on the screen with a face full of shock. She turned her head and asked the He clan leader in a daze. She was naturally very clear about a 7th level profound void martial artist bloodline vicious beast cub. Even she could not bring out such a gift for her son's birthday. This could no longer be described as precious. He-Feng was also waiting for his father's answer with a shocked expression. Now, he vaguely understood why his father was so polite to that young man. Not long ago, a rank 7 profound void martial artist killed 2 rank 7 profound void martial artists. The Towering Sky Sword Sect established the Heartless Sword Dao Sect. With his strength, it is still possible for him to bring out such a precious thing. Although the Flowing Sea region is small, it has already been unified under his push. Now, his age is not even as old as Yuan. The He clan leader looked at his wife and son and said with a twinkle in his eyes, "What?" He-Feng widened his eyes and stared at his father in disbelief. This? The woman at the side was also filled with shock. The last time you sent someone to assassinate him, he had already killed you easily. In a few days, you should go and apologize to him. His talent is too terrifying. A heaven's pride. Before he grew up, he was only a heaven's pride, but he had already grown up. Even I might not be his match. The He clan leader said indifferently to He-Feng. Gulp. He-Feng could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He had actually sent people to assassinate a profound void tier 7 expert. He had actually provoked a profound void tier 7 expert. No wonder he could easily insta-kill him. When he thought of this, he was somewhat absent-minded. If he was not the He clan's young master, and he did not know He Yuan, he might have already been killed by him. The dignity of a powerhouse was not to be violated, especially for a powerhouse at such a level. So what if he killed him? It would be extremely difficult for the He clan to hunt him down. I know, father. He-Feng raised his head in horror and looked at the young man in the picture. He nodded his head in fear. Brother Wang Xian, you are really a brother. At the birthday banquet venue, He Yuan was so excited that he didn't know what to say as he looked at the ferocious beast cubs that Wang Xian had given him. All right, enjoy your birthday. Wang Xian smiled nonchalantly. I'm sorry, young Master Wang Xian. It's my fault for what happened last time and what happened today. Lin Yaoyao walked over and apologized to Wang Xian. No need. Wang Xian shook his head lightly and smiled at her. If you want to carve an item, I can carve one for you. No need. I have already prepared a gift for Brother He Yuan. I won't trouble you. Lin Yaoyao waved her hand hurriedly. She was at a loss for what to do with Wang Xian's attitude. A young man who could make the He clan leader be so courteous. A young man who could bring out the cub of a 7th level see-through ferocious beast. In her opinion, it was normal for him to not give her face. However, she was at a loss for what to do now that he was so courteous. Wang Xian smiled and nodded at her faintly. This made Lin Yaoyao's face turn slightly red as she lowered her head and sneaked a glance at Wang Xian. He was really a handsome human with a personality. Young Master Wang Xian, let's take a seat at the side. He Suiqing invited Wang Xian. At this moment, she no longer had any thoughts about little Goody. A young ferocious beast at the 7th level of the see-through realm, regardless of whether He Yuan was willing to give it to her or not. Even if he agreed, the He clan would not agree. This thing was too precious. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head and sat at the side. Dui Dazhuang looked at He Suiqing, Lin Yaoyao, He Yuan, and the rest with some restraint. He stood there stiffly without moving. Sit down. Wang Xian glanced at him and said with a smile. This? He, brother Wang Xian, this? Dui Dazhuang smiled awkwardly. He had never expected that Wang Xian would be so awesome. Oh right, He Yuan, this is Lonewood Dazhuang. He is a friend that I know in the vast region. He is a subordinate force of your He clan. Can you arrange for him to join your army? Or? Wang Xian said to He Yuan, who was beside him. Oh, Lonewood Dazhuang, haha, that's easy. I remember when we first met, I wanted brother Wang Xian to keep a pet for me. Coincidentally, I haven't found him yet. He can come. He Yuan waved his hand nonchalantly. Dui Dazhuang, who was at the side, was excited. His eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Raising a pet for young Master He Yuan. Young Master He Yuan was a beast tamer. He was equivalent to young Master He Yuan's trusted aide. One step to the sky, one step to the sky. Thank you, young Master He. Thank you, young Master He. I've long heard that young Master He is extraordinary. It's as if he is the reincarnation of a god. Now, it seems like that's really the case. He's as handsome as brother Wang Xian. Dui Dazhuang flattered him excitedly. Haha, brother Wang Xian, this friend of yours is quite interesting. He Yuan laughed out loud. Around them, Dui Jiang, Yuan Suner, and Dui Dazhuang's fiancée, Lu Lianjin, widened their eyes when they saw this scene. They had never expected that Dui Dazhuang, who they had always looked down on and even allowed others to bully him, would actually soar to the sky. In the future, he would be a person from a completely different world from them. In the future, the One Tree Dazhuang, this fatty whom they looked down on, would actually become an existence that they needed to look up to. All of this was because of that incomparably mysterious youth. A single sentence could change a person's fate, and a single sentence could make one fly over the dragon gate. The gazes of everyone around were filled with reverence. Chapter 1504. 1504 He Yuan's birthday banquet continued. Tens of thousands of young people congratulated him once again. At the same time, He Yuan announced the selection of members for the establishment of the army. In the next few days, 100 of the most outstanding young people would be selected to enter He Yuan's army. Each young man would have a beast pet of the profound void tier. In comparison, the most enviable person this time was Lonewood Dazhuang. He had become the most popular person by young Master He Yuan's side in a single leap. It could be said that he had soared into the sky. Everyone in Nanling City had to be respectful to him when they saw him. Wang Xian's appearance had also shocked many people, especially He Feng, who had easily defeated a dragon among men. He had given He Yuan a ferocious beast cub with a level 7 bloodline of the insightful void tier. When this news spread out, it shocked the entire He clan's forest. Everyone was filled with curiosity and surprise towards this young man named Wang Xian. The entire He clan's forest was discussing the matter between Wang Xian and He Yuan. Brother Wang Xian, are you here to look for someone in the vast region? That Miss Ling Jianer? On the second day, in a house on the He clan's holy tree, He Yuan looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. In the room, Lin Yaoyao and He Suiqing were also looking at him with sparkling eyes. Yes. Wang Xian nodded his head slowly. Brother Wang Xian, what's going on between you and Miss Ling Jianer? He Yuan looked at him curiously and asked. It's a long story. Wang Xian shook his head bitterly. All right, brother Wang Xian, Do you have a portrait of Miss Lingjian? I'll tell my father to use the He clan's power to search for her. He Yuan nodded. Seeing his expression, he did not ask any further. I'll have to trouble the He clan. As long as you have all the information about her, tell me everything. Wang Xian said to him. All right, don't worry, brother. Although our He clan is not the strongest in the vast region, the information we have is pretty good. We will definitely do our best. As He Yuan spoke, he patted his shoulder. You don't have to be too sad. I will bring you around the He clan's forest for the next few days. The scenery and places of our He clan's forest cannot be compared to the human demon graveyard. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. In the next few days, He Yuan, He Suiqing, and the rest accompanied Wang Xian around the He clan's forest. As for the He clan, under the orders of the clan leader, they mobilized all the forces of the He clan to look for Lingjian Er. Wang Xian waited quietly for the news every day. The vast area was too vast. Looking for a person was like looking for a needle in a haystack. However, with the He clan around, he could still find some information. Wang Xian lived in a separate courtyard. In the middle, He Feng came to apologize. 10 days later, the first news of Lingjian Er came. Someone had seen Lingjian Er, but this was more than 2 months ago. This was a piece of useless news. In the next few days, more and more news came, but there was no practical information. Soon, 20 days passed, and Wang Xian gradually became anxious. During this period of time, Wang Xian also learned that the He clan was ranked in the top 3 in terms of information in the vast region. Even if it was a super force, they didn't dare to say that they were better than the He clan in terms of information. It was also because of this that he gradually became a little anxious. 20 days later, he stayed in the courtyard every day and sculpted one sculpture after another to ease his mood. In just a few days, he had sculpted tens of thousands of different sculptures. Among them, more than half of them were sculptures of Lingjian Er. An inexplicable worry would surge into Wang Xian's heart from time to time, causing him to feel unsettled. This was the first time since Wang Xian was born that he had such an emotion. Brother Wang Xian. On the first day of a month later, the selection of members of He Yuan's army had already been completed. He Yuan, He Suiqing, Lin Yaoyao, and Dui Dazhuang rushed over with some worries. Dui Dazhuang could be considered to have soared to the sky. According to Dui Dazhuang, his fiancée went to look for him the next day and knelt down to him. Wang Xian found it hilarious that Dui Dazhuang looked so wretched back then. However, Dui Dazhuang, who had been laughing all this while, had a serious expression on his face today. The 4 of them walked in and looked at Wang Xian, who was carving a statue. They walked over with a frown. There's news. Wang Xian raised his head and looked at them expressionlessly. This? He Yuan pursed his lips and said, There's a piece of news that came from 5 days ago. I didn't bring it to you at that time. Our He clan is looking for Miss Lingjian Er's next whereabouts, but there's no news. As he spoke, he walked slowly to Wang Xian and placed the information in front of him. Wang Xian looked at the information and had a bad premonition. A terrifying glow shot out from his eyes. The dragon eyes of light and dark fire activated automatically. He looked through the information quietly. He Yuan and the others who were standing at the side felt the terrifying aura from Wang Xian. They were slightly shocked and couldn't help but take a step back. Young Master Wang Xian, you don't have to worry. Miss Lingjian Er is blessed by the heavens. She will be fine. He Suiqing consoled him softly. Huff. Wang Xian slowly closed his eyes and exhaled. His body trembled slightly. News of the He clan. A month ago, Lingjian appeared in Ancient Demon City and was hunted down by some people in Ancient Demon City. The news ended here. When the He clan received the news, they immediately conducted a detailed investigation. Due to the uniqueness of Ancient Demon City, they did not find any news. Brother He Yuan, please give me some information about the Ancient Demon City. Wang Xian opened his eyes expressionlessly and said to He Yuan. Here. He Yuan was obviously prepared. He handed over a document and said, Brother Wang Xian, this Ancient Demon City is a very special region in the vast region, The people living in it are all extremely vicious sinners, or some cultivators who have committed heinous crimes. The ancient city of demons is very strong. There are 7 great devils at level 7 of the see-through realm. They are working together, and even some first-rate forces do not dare to provoke them. There are more than 1,000,000 people in the city. The weakest among them is at level 7 or 8 of the extraordinary realm. Even the super forces are unwilling to provoke this group of lunatics. They are afraid that they will not be exterminated, and they will seek revenge. These people are very cruel. He Yuan introduced the city to Wang Xian. The ancient demon city was a city built by a group of desperate people. Under normal circumstances, no one was willing to offend them. Okay. Wang Xian responded with a soft okay and looked at all the information about the ancient demon city quietly. Brother Wang Xian, don't worry. Perhaps Miss Lingjian is fine. He Yuan comforted Wang Xian softly when he saw his condition. However, Wang Xian didn't say anything. He just sat there expressionlessly. Dui Dazhuang, He Sui Qing, Lin Yao Yao, and the rest consoled him for a while, but they still didn't receive any reply. The few of them also knew that this was a piece of news that caused some despair. They could also understand Wang Xian's feelings. However, none of them noticed that Wang Xian's eyes had slowly turned black. Chapter 1505 1505 Begging the Devil. Black as the abyss. Wang Xian sat there with his head lowered. His eyes were slowly turning pitch black. If one were to stare into his eyes at this moment, one would feel terrified. In the deepest part of his pupils, there seemed to be an extremely ferocious demonic dragon that wanted to break free from the cage of the abyss. He Yuan stood there alone, He Dazhuang, and Lin Yao Yao consoled him for more than 10 minutes. When he saw that Wang Xian did not say a word, He Yuan shook his head helplessly. He gestured to the few people beside him and left immediately. A few hours after they left, Wang Xian suddenly raised his head. A ferocious and terrifying look suddenly appeared in his eyes. Even though the God-fiend dragon had a noble dragon body, it still gave people a sense of evil and malevolence. The God-fiend dragon of the abyss. At this moment, in Wang Xian's mind, the heart of light and darkness, which had been silent for a long time, was glowing with a black light. The heart of light and darkness, which was at the extremes of light and darkness, was slowly operating. The black light completely covered the light. A sinister and terrifying aura was slowly emitted from Wang Xian's body. He stood up slowly and everything around him dissipated. He turned into a wisp of black smoke. The grass on the ground withered at a terrifying speed. He stood up slowly. His pair of completely black eyes were staring in one direction as he walked forward unswervingly. His body was a little stiff, as if he was being controlled. Every step he took, the grass under his body would wither. He walked straight in one direction. Wang, there's a terrifying energy. At this moment, an alarm sounded from the law enforcement pavilion not far away. Inside the He clan's forest, everyone was slightly shocked. What happened again? One of the pavilion masters was slightly shocked. More things had happened in the past few days than in the past 10 years combined. The 3 pavilion masters flew over quickly. He Feng, who had joined the law enforcement pavilion, followed behind them quickly. It's over there. When they sensed the destructive energy, everyone flew over. That is, it's young Master Wang Xian. What's going on with him? When they flew over and saw Wang Xian in such a state, they were slightly shocked. Young Master Wang Xian. A pavilion master shouted at Wang Xian with a face full of astonishment. However, Wang Xian did not respond at all and walked straight ahead. What's going on? Go and call the clan leader and He Yuan over. A pavilion master frowned and said immediately. For an expert of this level, he could only ask the clan leader and the rest to make a move. Yes. A law enforcement officer hurriedly flew towards the holy tree. Gulp. He Feng looked at Wang Xian's pupils and suddenly shivered. A hint of fear appeared in his eyes. Deep, terrifying, abyss. Even his temperament was greatly affected. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just when Wang Xian was about 1,000 meters away, one figure after another flew over. The He clan leader, the three clan elders, He Yuan He Suiqing, Lin Yaoyao, and the rest rushed over quickly. When they saw Wang Xian's condition, their pupils contracted slightly. What a terrifying power of darkness! The He clan leader and the three clan elders were shocked. Brother Wang Xian. When He Yuan saw Wang Xian's condition, his expression changed drastically. He hurriedly shouted loudly. When he saw that Wang Xian did not respond, he flew towards the spot in front of Wang Xian anxiously. He landed in front of Wang Xian and stared at him with widened eyes. Yuan, be careful. His condition is not right. Even with the profound knowledge of the He clan leader and the clan elders, they did not understand what kind of situation Wang Xian was in. They were afraid of attacking him. The few of them immediately came to He Yuan's side and stared at Wang Xian. When they saw his pupils, they were slightly shocked. Brother Wang Xian, wake up. He Yuan raised his head and stared at Wang Xian with an extremely embarrassed expression. He shouted loudly. Wang Xian's body stiffened, and he stopped moving. A glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. He raised his head slowly and looked at He Yuan. He shouted with a stiff voice, He Yuan, tell me, what would happen if a person doesn't have a heart? Tell me, what would happen if a person doesn't have a heart? When He Yuan heard this sentence, he was stunned. Everyone around him stared at Wang Xian in astonishment. What would happen if a person doesn't have a heart? While they were in a daze, Wang Xian seemed to be mumbling to himself. However, following that, a shocking action made everyone present widen their eyes. They were filled with disbelief. When he finished his sentence, Wang Xian stared at his chest and gently grabbed it with his palm. A sound rang out in the surroundings where a pin drop could be heard. A heart appeared in his hand. This was Wang Xian's own heart. In order to find Ling Jian, he had traveled hundreds of thousands of miles to this place. In the end, he received the news that she might be dead. Coupled with the accumulation over the past month, the darkness in the heart of light and darkness in his mind exploded. He stared at the beating heart in his hand slowly and was slightly lost in thought. No, Brother Wang Xian, wake up. He Yuan's expression changed drastically when he saw the horrifying scene. He shouted loudly and wanted to run towards him, but his father pulled him back. Everyone around him was filled with astonishment. What would happen if a person doesn't have a heart? He mumbled to himself again. The bright red beating heart turned into bloody pieces in his hands. He crushed his own heart. He crushed his own heart. Everyone around felt their scalps turn numb. They inhaled a mouthful of cold air and stared blankly. Wang Xian slowly closed his eyes. His body seemed to be frozen in place. At the location of his heart on his chest, a terrifying power of darkness surged directly into his heart. The heart of light and darkness in his mind replaced his original heart. It doesn't seem to be in pain. Furthermore, I feel that it's even stronger. Boom. Wang Xian opened his eyes abruptly. Strands of dense, substance-like power of darkness flowed out like tears. Gulp. He didn't die. The He clan leader and the three clan elders, including everyone around them, looked at Wang Xian with their scalps tingling. Terrifying, terrifying. This was the first time they saw a person crushing his own heart without dying. Even a powerhouse at the 9th level of the see-through realm would die if his heart was crushed, unless he had reached the realm of longevity. However, even if he was in the realm of longevity, with his heart being crushed, there would be less than 1/10 of his strength left. He Feng's legs were trembling. His eyes were filled with fear. He was desperately asking himself why he had offended such a crazy person in the past. No, he was a crazy monster. Bloom in the darkness and be eternal in the slaughter. At this moment, Wang Xian lowered his head slowly and looked at his pitch-black heart. He mumbled to himself, bloom in the darkness and be eternal in the slaughter. 10 words, extremely cold. Seek the devil. At this moment, he raised his head. His entire body was enveloped by the tangible dark energy crazily. Chapter 1506. 1506 1506. If I become a demon, there will be no demon in the world. 1. Seek the demon. 2 words came out of his mouth. It was ordinary, not loud, and not violent. There were only 2 ordinary words. However, when he finished saying these 2 words, his entire body was completely enveloped in darkness. A physical darkness. However, no matter how dark it was, a pair of eyes that were as deep as the abyss was still exceptionally eye-catching. Hiss! Around them, the He clan leader and the rest looked at the extremely strange Wang Xian in front of them and inhaled a breath of cold air. The scene in front of them had completely overturned their understanding. Invite the patriarch over. When the He clan leader saw this strange scene, he felt his scalp go numb. This was especially so when he said, "Bloom in the darkness and be eternal in the midst of slaughter." His 2 sentences with Chiao and Mo made him feel a little fearful. Yes. An expert at level 6 of the see-through realm hurriedly flew towards the height of the holy tree. At this moment, Wang Xian continued to walk forward. With 1 step, he walked for 1,000 meters. When everyone in the He clan saw Wang Xian continuing to walk forward, their expressions changed drastically as they hurriedly looked over. However, Wang Xian continued to walk forward. Every step he took was 1,000 meters. This time, the dark energy in his body did not cause the surrounding flowers and plants to wither. He had completely mastered the power of darkness. Follow him. Activate the formation. Don't disturb the others. The He clan leader hurriedly gave the order. Wang Xian continued to move forward. A group of more than 100 people from the He clan and the Forest Fairy clan followed behind him. They used the formation to conceal a space. Whoosh! When Wang Xian took the 10th step, an old figure appeared in the sky above them. What's going on? The old man with white hair asked with a face full of astonishment. Ancestor, we don't know either. This young man is a peerless genius at the 7th level of the see-through void tier. Please come to us. The He clan leader immediately told all the information to the old man. What pure power of darkness! It really makes people panic. He dug out his own heart and came to seek the devil. Hearing the He clan leader's words, the old man took a slight breath. He didn't understand. He also didn't understand. That direction should be the location of the ancient devil city. The white-haired old man said slowly. The ancient devil city. Could it be that he wants to take revenge? The ancient devil city is not simple. Every single one of them is a ruthless person with monstrous ferocity. Moreover, there are as many as 7 profound void tier experts there. With his strength, he will be killed if he goes there. A clan elder said with a surprised expression. If there was no need for ancient devil city, they were not willing to provoke them. It was not because they could match first-rate strength, but because they were too ruthless and cruel. We can't stop him directly. Let's follow him to take a look. The white-haired elder said solemnly. Yes, let's follow behind him. Don't provoke him. The He clansmen immediately followed behind. The ancient demon city was more than 500,000 kilometers away from this place. Even with Wang Xian's 1 kilometer per step, it would take him at least 500,000 steps. It would also take 6 to 7 days. However, as an expert above the see-through void tier, he would not be affected even if he did not sleep for 6 to 7 days. Wang Xian's dark energy was completely under control and didn't leak out at all. The people around him couldn't sense his demonic aura either. Furthermore, there were a group of top-notch experts from the He clan following him. No one could sense him along the way. 6.5 days later, when it was close to dusk, a city that was emitting blood and dark energy appeared in their sight. This bloody and brutal energy made everyone from the He clan feel a little uncomfortable. Stop. Don't let the ancient demon city think that we are the ones controlling him. The white-haired old man saw the city 5 kilometers ahead and ordered everyone. Yes. Everyone from the He clan nodded immediately. They stood in the void and hid in the formation as they watched from afar. They stared at Wang Xian's figure and were filled with astonishment. They were puzzled. They didn't know why he was here. When Wang Xian arrived at 1,000 meters away from the ancient demon city, he stopped as well. He raised his head slightly and looked at this huge city. As the gathering force of the sinners in the vast region, this city was extremely bloody and vast. The city gate was always wide open. On the city wall, there was a corpse that was more than 20 meters long. It was the corpse of a 7th-level void interpretation beast. The demonic aura was overwhelming. He has stopped. What is he trying to do? Everyone from the He clan looked on in astonishment. Wang Xian stood straight in the middle. Without the concealment of the formation, he appeared in front of everyone. Even though there were only 1,000,000 people in the ancient demon city, there were still many people coming in and out at sunset. Where did that guy come from? His style is quite unique. Ho ho, he's really scaring people. His outfit is not bad. TSK. With such a pretentious outfit, he won't be able to live for long. Hee hee. At this moment, a few middle-aged men around noticed Wang Xian. They looked at him standing straight in the middle and commented unscrupulously. Some of these people were wearing masks, while some had ferocious looks on their faces. Wang Xian's power of darkness was perfectly concealed. They could not sense his strength. Moreover, everyone in the ancient demon city would hide their cultivation. Wang Xian's attire was not weird at all. People in front, get out of the way for me. At this moment, a group of young men riding a group of ferocious beasts shouted at them. Get out of the way. He's the grandson of a devil master in ancient demon city. Get out of the way. Everyone around quickly moved to the side. Wang Xian was still standing there. There's a guy who wants to die. He's new, right? Then he shall become the food for my mount. More than a dozen young men riding on ferocious beasts looked ferocious when they saw him standing there motionlessly. One of the young men in the middle let out a strange cry. The speed of his mount did not slow down. Is that guy courting death? Where did he come from? Ha. It seems like our ancient demon city has another corpse and soul remnant. The surrounding people were discussing excitedly when they saw Wang Xian standing there motionlessly. Bang! Suddenly, under everyone's shocked gaze, the figure who looked like he was courting death kneeled on the ground and kowtowed towards the ancient demon city. At the same time, the group of young men on their mounts were slightly stunned. Ha, kneeling and kowtowing. What is this fellow doing? Why? Does he want to join me? Ha. The young man in the middle shouted with a face full of laughter when he saw Wang Xian suddenly kneeling and kowtowing towards his direction. The group of young men around also looked at Wang Xian with a mocking expression. They immediately stopped their mounts and came to a spot 10 meters away from Wang Xian. They looked down at Wang Xian from above with a mocking smile on their faces. The first 3 kowtows to the devil, to pay tribute to the millions of souls that are about to die. I want to be a devil. There is no devil in the world. In the midst of slaughter, eternity, a calm voice was heard slowly. Chapter 1507. 1507. If I become a demon, there will be no demon 2 in the world. Kowtow 3 times before the demon, to the millions of souls that are about to die. I want to be a demon. There will be no demon in the world. In the midst of killing, eternity. An extremely calm voice came out from Wang Xian's mouth. He kowtowed towards the front with an expressionless face. He was not kowtowing to the group of young men in front of him, nor was he kowtowing to the huge ancient demon city. Furthermore, he was bowing to the millions of people who were about to die. Because he was going to kill today. What? What are you talking about? Say it again for me. 10 meters ahead, the young man on his mount was slightly stunned when he heard Wang Xian's words. He raised his head slightly and stared at Wang Xian as he commanded. However, Wang Xian ignored him. With his pitch-black eyes, he bowed 3 times towards the front. Bastard, our young master Imo is asking you a question. Do you want to die? A young man saw that Wang Xian did not reply. He waved his arm and a whip appeared in his hand. Then, he swung it at Wang Xian. Crack. The whip landed on Wang Xian's body and was blocked by the dark energy. At this moment, Wang Xian stood up slowly. A terrifying aura was emitted slowly. Huh. The group of young men in front stared at Wang Xian in astonishment. I'm asking you a question. Open your mouth. The young man who was holding the long whip let out a low growl. A ferocious look appeared on his face as he swung the long whip in his hand again. What happened to the guy who was shrouded in darkness? Is there something wrong with his mind? Maybe he has a death wish. Around them, some people looked over with a face full of mockery. The ancient demon city was filled with sin. When they saw a person being killed, they would not sympathize with him. Instead, they were extremely excited because of the bloody scene. Crack. The whip landed heavily on Wang Xian's body once again. A mocking sound was heard as well. Wang Xian raised his head slowly. His pair of abyss-like eyes were staring straight ahead. "Fuck, tear him apart for me." The young man standing at the front was slightly shocked when he saw Wang Xian's emotionless pitch-black pupils. He roared furiously. Roar. His body moved and his mount attacked Wang Xian directly. "I have already offered sacrifices to your souls. So die." Boom. Wang Xian looked at the ferocious beast attacking him and let out a low growl. The seemingly solid dark energy on his body began to churn. "The one who dies is you, you damn thing." When the young man heard Wang Xian's words, a ferocious look appeared on his face as he roared loudly. Crash. However, the moment the gigantic mouth of the ferocious beast reached Wang Xian's head, a pitch-black claw grabbed the mouth of the ferocious beast. The claw was covered with scales. The pitch-black dragon claw emitted a terrifying aura. The dragon claw tore the ferocious beast into two halves. The young man who was sitting on the ferocious beast was completely stunned. Roar. At this moment, a terrifying roar suddenly came from in front of him. The roar was filled with a brutal and bloody aura. It was as though a demon had returned from the abyss. The terrifying dark energy rushed towards the surroundings. The young man widened his eyes and stared in front of him in disbelief. Ah! Following that, a terrifying scream sounded. The young man widened his eyes and stared at his body, his expression filled with fear. The terrifying dark energy rushed towards him. His body, his flesh, and blood actually slowly melted, as if they were slowly being devoured by the darkness. He screamed in horror. Roar. Another roar was heard. A gigantic creature appeared in front of the ancient demon city. A black, dragon-scaled demonic dragon that was nearly 100 meters in size appeared. Its entire body was filled with terror. Waves of dark energy surrounded the body of the demonic dragon. Its pitch-black dragon head, claws, body, and tail were not ferocious, but they gave off a brutal aura. Boom. Wang Xian, who had completely transformed into the dark demon dragon, swept his dragon claws at everyone around him who was filled with shock. What kind of monster is this? Run. 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 The person who was taunting them earlier was filled with shock and panic. From the first whistle, they had a bad premonition. However, everything happened too quickly. The dozen or so young men who bore the brunt of the attack turned into dry bones with their mouths wide open. Ah! However, the miserable shrieks rang out in an instant. The hundreds of people around them were corroded by the dark energy and died. The descent of the demonic dragon brought about destruction. If Wang Xian became a demon, the demons in the world would not be qualified to become a demon. Just like how, if I became a demon, there would be no demons in the world. Roar. The 100-meter-long body of the demon dragon stared at the city in front of him emotionlessly with its dragon eyes. It charged forward with a violent aura. What's the situation? What is that thing? Early warning, early warning. There are powerful creatures attacking our ancient demon city. You are courting death. How dare you come to our ancient demon city to cause trouble? On the city wall, the city guards looked at the commotion outside. They stared at Wang Xian, who was 100 meters tall, with a face full of shock as they shouted loudly. Boom! Before they could finish their words, Wang Xian's terrifying figure rammed toward the city wall with brute force. It was the strength of his physical body. He rammed toward the city wall that was a few hundred meters tall and a few tens of meters thick. Under the horrified gazes of the ancient demon city, the entire city wall was smashed open. The city guards on top of it died instantly. A month ago, someone from your ancient demon city surrounded and attacked a woman. Today, all of you will die. Wang Xian rushed over and spat out cruel words. His voice covered the entire ancient demon city. This caused everyone in the ancient demon city who didn't know what was happening to be stunned. Fuck, who is so arrogant in our ancient devil city? Those who are courting death dare to provoke our ancient devil city. Even first-rate forces don't dare to provoke us. Who is so arrogant? Ancient devil city has another corpse. When some people heard this voice, a sinister expression appeared on their faces. In the city, some experts also coldly looked over. Boom, boom, boom. However, very soon, a deafening sound was heard. At the north gate of the ancient demon city, Wang Xian used his huge body to attack all the living beings and buildings. Without any hesitation, he swept his dragon tail and turned all the buildings into ruins. Everyone died immediately under his dragon tail. This is bad. This creature is very strong. Let's dodge it quickly. 7th level of the see-through realm? It's at least 7th level of the see-through realm. Let's run. Let's run. At the north gate, everyone in the ancient demon city saw the demonic dragon with monstrous demonic flames. Its tail swept across an area of 1,000 meters, and their faces were filled with fear. They all roared loudly and ran back in fear. Wang Xian did not chase after them. He destroyed everything in the ancient demon city wantonly. All the buildings, all the people. He wanted to turn this place into a ruin, a land of death. Leave no one alive. Chapter 1508. 1508. If I become a demon, there will be no Demon 3 in the world. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of destruction was heard. A 100-meter-long demon dragon was floating in the sky above the ancient demon city. Its tail and claws were destroying the surrounding buildings. Those who couldn't escape in time were all killed. In just a few seconds, the entire north gate had been turned into ruins. There was no sign of life. Even the ground had turned dark. At least tens of thousands of people had died. Gulp. In the distance, everyone from the He clan widened their eyes when they saw Wang Xian transform into a world-destroying demonic dragon and destroy the entire city wantonly. A look of fear appeared on their faces. Is he going to destroy the entire ancient demon city? With his strength, it will be difficult for him to fight against the 7 demon masters of the ancient demon city. The voices of the He clan's people came from their mouths. He Yuan looked at the demonic dragon that was waving wantonly in front of him with a worried expression. His eyes were flickering. You bastard! How dare you come to our ancient demon city to cause trouble? Bastard! I will skin you alive today. It has been a long time since anyone dared to come to our ancient demon city to cause trouble. Kiki, this is really interesting. The voices coming from the north gate had completely attracted the attention of the devil lords in Mushroom City. The voices were suspended in the sky as their gazes were fixed on Wang Xian. One of them was dressed in a pitch-black robe with a hat on it, only revealing a pair of blood-red eyes. He was holding a scythe-like weapon in his hand as he stared at Wang Xian menacingly. The other one was as skinny as a stick. His entire head was like a skeleton. In his hand, he was holding a skeleton with eyes that were like ghostly flames. In the middle of the room, there was an old man with 2 heads. His body was bloated, and he had 4 arms. He looked ferocious and terrifying. There were a total of 7 people. Each of them looked extremely evil. The blood on his body would make ordinary people tremble. The 7 devil lords stared at Wang Xian, who was destroying the city with bloodthirsty eyes. The killing intent on their bodies shot straight to the clouds. That bastard actually dares to attack our ancient devil city. Damn it! Kill this bastard. Kill him. Around them, the people from the ancient devil city looked at the 7 devil lords in the sky and shouted confidently. 7 streams of killing intent had completely locked onto Wang Xian. However, Wang Xian didn't seem to have sensed their killing intent. He continued to destroy and destroy everything. Bastard, hand over your life. One of the devil masters looked at Wang Xian and ignored them. He continued to destroy and revealed a cold expression on his face. His figure moved, and with the same darkness attribute, he transformed into a black skeleton that was 5,000 meters in size. Under the setting sun, it looked exceptionally terrifying. Boom! The skeleton attacked Wang Xian. He raised his head and looked at the terrifying skeleton. Roar! The roar of the demonic dragon and a stream of black flames were spat out from his mouth as he charged towards the skeleton. Roar! Roar! Following that, Wang Xian landed on the ground and roared loudly. Around him, the shadows of 8 demonic dragons appeared instantly. The 8 demonic dragons attacked in all directions. Boom! 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 With a single attack, the entire north gate within a 20-kilometer radius was reduced to ruins. In the sky, the dark skeleton emitted by the demon lord was dissipated by the demonic flames. This bastard! When the group of devil lords and everyone in the ancient devil city saw this scene, their faces turned extremely gloomy. This creature wanted to destroy the entire ancient devil city. Kill him! The two-headed old man revealed a ferocious expression on his face as he roared. A creature of the 7th level of the see-through realm dares to act so arrogantly in our territory? After the two-headed demon lord's voice was heard, all the demon lords moved. The 7 of them emitted a terrifying aura as they attacked Wang Xian at the same time. Roar! Roar! When Wang Xian saw the 7 demon lords attacking him, his face revealed an excited expression. His figure moved and charged at them at an even faster speed. Kiki, beheading sickle. Devil skull devour. Hand of hell. The devil master shouted softly and attacked Wang Xian one after another. Kill him. Below, the people from the ancient devil city revealed a ferocious smile when they saw the 7 devil masters attacking at the same time. Roar! Looking at the terrifying attacks one after another, Wang Xian did not retreat at all. His dark dragon eyes swept across the 7 devil masters. Waves of dark power gushed out from his heart. He used his physical body to meet them. Boom! Boom! The attacks landed on his body. Dragon scales fell off and black blood flowed out. However, he did not seem to feel any pain. He attacked the only old demon master directly. He opened his largest dragon mouth as if he wanted to devour her. Kiki, stupid thing. When the demon lord saw that Wang Xian did not resist their attacks, a large amount of blood flowed out instantly. A mocking look appeared in her eyes. She opened her arms and made a hugging gesture. A 1,000-meter-long demon shadow embraced Wang Xian. Roar, roar. It was as though Wang Xian did not feel the wounds on his body. The demon flames on his body churned as he extended his dragon claws and attacked the demon lord. Boom! The dragon claws penetrated the demonic shadow, causing the demon lord to be slightly shocked. Do it! Kill him quickly! She let out a sharp voice. Kill! The other 6 demon lords did not hesitate at all. They waved their sickles and skeletons filled the sky. The hand of the abyss emerged from the ground. Demonic scale chain. At this moment, Wang Xian suddenly let out a roar. A pitch-black chain that looked like it was formed by dragon scales extended out from his heart. The devil scale chain instantly covered an area of 10 kilometers. The pitch-black chain covered an area of 10 kilometers. What? When the 7 devil masters saw such a pure devil chain, they were shocked. Use your full strength. Don't hold back. The two-headed devil master roared with a serious expression. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, Wang Xian's devil chain moved. A portion of the devil chain attacked the old devil master directly. The rest of the devil chains swept toward the area below without any difference. A series of explosions sounded. Oh no, quick, run. Let's escape from the ancient devil city. That bastard wants to destroy everything. Let's retreat first. Exclamations came from the area below. Facing the 7 devil masters and destroying everything below, everyone in the ancient Devil City was terrified. The attack just now had killed thousands of people below. At this moment, all of them were terrified and wanted to flee further away. Flee? Even if I have to use my broken body, I will destroy everything here. Roar. When Wang Xian saw that the people in the ancient demon city wanted to flee further away, he charged towards them with a cold expression. Chapter 1509. 1509. If I become a demon, there will be no demon 4 in the world. Even if I have to use my broken body, I will destroy everything here. When Wang Xian saw that everyone in the ancient demon city was terrified and wanted to escape, a cold expression appeared in his eyes. There was no fluctuation in his pupils. His body moved, and he gave up on fighting against the 7 demon masters. Instead, he attacked the people in the ancient demon city. Madman, madman, this is a madman. Run, run, we have to run. Lord Demon Master, save us. When everyone in ancient demon city saw Wang Xian giving up on fighting against the demon master and charging towards them, they were all shocked. Was this guy a madman? He was facing the attacks of the 7 demon masters from ancient demon city, yet he still wanted to kill them. How much hatred do we have? It seems that in the beginning, they heard a sentence. A month ago, someone from your ancient devil city besieged a woman. Today, all of you will die. Damn it, a month ago, someone from ancient devil city besieged a woman, and you want to destroy our entire city? Even in ancient devil city, everyone was extremely vicious, and they couldn't help but curse. You want to destroy all of us just by besieging a woman? Do you have to be so overbearing? Unfortunately, Wang Xian had already fallen into a demonic state. He was like a demon that had lost his rationality. All he wanted was revenge. Even if they were to beg for mercy loudly, Wang Xian wouldn't have any reaction. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, the extremely terrifying demonic scale chain swept across a radius of 10 kilometers. The terrifying demon scale chain was at least 1 meter thick and looked like a dragon scale. Once it was hit, even a level 6 see-through void martial artist would not be able to escape. Boom, boom, boom. Ah. Demon Lord, help. The demon scale chain swept across a 10-kilometer radius. A total of more than 100,000 people roared with fear on their faces. A 10-kilometer radius was turned into ruins. More than 100,000 people died instantly. Damn it! When the 7 devil masters saw that Wang Xian was still distracted from killing the people from the ancient devil city while fighting with them, their faces were filled with rage. Killing people under their noses, wasn't this disrespecting them? Kill him. The devil master who was holding the sickle had a sinister look on his face. He waved his arm and a huge sickle slashed toward Wang Xian. Beast, go to hell. The other demon lords attacked Wang Xian ferociously. However, what shocked everyone was that Wang Xian didn't dodge at all. He continued to attack the area in front of him. In front of him, more than 100,000 people from the ancient demon city were fleeing in panic. However, with their speed, they were far inferior to Wang Xian. The devil scale chain swept forward once again. He is a madman. No. Sounds of despair were heard. Boom, boom, boom. However, at this moment, terrifying attacks landed on Wang Xian's body. The huge scythe slashed at the waist of Wang Xian's dragon. A ferocious ghost shadow bit the area where his dragon tail was. A skull head hit Wang Xian's head heavily. Every attack that could seriously injure even a level 7 see-through void martial artist landed on Wang Xian's body. Black blood splashed down rapidly like rain. Large chunks of flesh and blood fell to the ground, especially at the dragon's body. The scythe left a 10-meter-long and 2-meter-deep wound on his body. Roar. No one can escape. However, Wang Xian didn't seem to notice such a terrifying wound. He raised his head and let out a wild roar. His body moved, and he continued to charge forward. The monstrous demonic flames didn't diminish in the slightest. His body moved, and he flew for 5 to 6 kilometers. He waved his dragon claw at the fleeing crowd in front of him. "Ah!" The miserable shrieks rang out once again. With a swipe of his claw, nearly 10,000 people died instantly. "Ah! This damned beast! Attack again. This time, I will definitely kill him." When the dual-headed demon lord saw Wang Xian charging into the crowd and killing wantonly, he roared furiously. "The dual-headed demon has descended." His body trembled. A dual-headed, four-armed demon figure appeared and tore at Wang Xian. "Corpse Tomb Mountain. Heavenly Devil Soul." Angry voices rang out one after another as Dharma idols were unleashed and attacked Wang Xian. Roar, roar. Everyone, destroy. At this moment, Wang Xian was still unperturbed. With a loud roar, his entire body suddenly enlarged. First was his dragon body, which directly transformed into a radius of 6 kilometers. Following that, his dragon head and dragon claws transformed into a radius of 3 kilometers. An even more terrifying demonic dragon had descended into the ancient demon city. What? What kind of Dharma idol is this? The 7 demon masters saw the 100-meter-long creature suddenly transform into a length of 6,000 meters. Its head was 3,000 meters long, and its 2 gigantic claws were 3,000 meters long. They widened their eyes and roared in fear. "Attack! Continue to attack!" The 2-headed demon lord saw Wang Xian's figure increasing rapidly. With an ugly expression, he roared again and cast another Dharma idol. The other 6 demon lords did not hesitate and cast the Dharma idol together. In an instant, 14 extremely terrifying Dharma idols attacked Wang Xian. The setting sun was like blood as it illuminated the ancient demon city. The ancient demon city, which was already gloomy, terrifying, and brutal, was even more terrifying under the Dharma idols. However, Wang Xian, who possessed a terrifying body, was like a world-destroying demonic dragon. He ignored the attacks of the 7 demon lords and chased after the people of the ancient demon city who had committed the most heinous crimes. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of an explosion reverberated within a radius of a few hundred kilometers. Even the people from the He clan in the distance were looking on in horror. The 14 Dharma idols landed on Wang Xian's body. His dragon body and claws were dissipating at a terrifying speed. He was slowly returning to his original size. His entire body was in tatters. However, his dragon head was still as big as 3 kilometers. Dragon head, devour the world. Roar, roar. A roar came from his mouth. The dragon head was so big that it could devour the mouth of a mountain. It was going straight for the front. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the dragon's mouth was like a black hole, swallowing all the buildings and living beings around it. Oh my God! It's over! It's over! What kind of existence did we provoke? And which damn thing attacked that woman? Everyone in ancient Devil City started to despair. After several attacks, 300,000 to 400,000 people in ancient Devil City died. When the dragon's head opened, it was as if the door to the abyss was opened. Everything was destroyed. No one was able to walk out of this terrifying dragon's mouth. From afar, one could see that the entire ancient Devil City had been completely razed to the ground. 1 million living beings had all died. Under the setting sun, there was only a broken body and an incomparably shocked Devil Master. Chapter 15:10 1510 If I become a demon, there will be no demons in the world. The millions of living beings have all been annihilated. Ancient Demon City, the ancient demon city with a fierce reputation in the vast region. An ancient demon city that even first-rate forces did not dare to casually provoke. At this moment, it had completely turned into ruins. The entire city, more than 1 million people, had all died. Apart from the 7 demon lords, not a single one survived. This was more than 1 million people, especially since they were all extremely vicious and powerful. More than 1 million people, along with a towering city, had completely sunk into the abyss when the sun set. My God, this is too terrifying, too terrifying. 7 insightful Void Tier 7 experts were unable to stop him. What terrifying strength, what crazy actions. This is simply an existence that can destroy the world. In the distance, everyone from the He clan looked at this scene with faces full of shock. Everyone could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Even the white-haired elder at the 8th rank of the profound void martial stage looked at the ancient demon city that had completely turned into ruins. He looked at the millions of people that had been killed, and his brows jumped. It was too brutal. It was simply too brutal. It was rare for one person to kill a city and over 1 million people, especially under the siege of a rank 7 insightful void realm expert. Kill him. I want to cut him into pieces and skin him alive. On the ruins of the ancient devil city, the 7 devil masters were trembling when they saw this scene. The ancient demon city had turned into ruins. All their subordinates had been killed. However, they didn't stop them. They could only watch helplessly. They never expected that the combined attacks of the 7 of them and the 14 Dharma idols couldn't stop him. Roar, 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 roar. The 7 of them let out a beast-like roar and attacked Wang Xian directly. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was lying on the ruins of the ancient demon city, was covered in wounds. A few of them were even fatal. The sun had completely set, and the darkness had completely descended. Wang Xian looked at the 7 demon lords who were attacking him and felt the extremely serious injuries on his body. His consciousness had finally recovered a little. Looking at the scene that he had done around him, a hint of bitterness appeared on his face. He was really too crazy. I'm afraid that my body is going to be damaged here. He looked at his broken body and sighed helplessly. The night has just fallen and the eternity has just begun. How can you die? Kill, kill, kill. At this moment, a violent sound came from the location of his heart. Dong, dong, dong. Along with this sound, Wang Xian's chest suddenly started to throb violently. At the location of his heart, waves of extremely dense dark energy spread throughout his body. His injuries were healing at an insane rate. His strength was rapidly filling up his entire body. If darkness doesn't come out, how can there be light? At this moment, another voice was heard from the location of his heart. The voice was extremely calm, making one feel as though they were bathing in the spring breeze. It was an extreme contrast to the violent and brutal scene just now. Wang Xian was stunned. He looked at the location of his heart. The heart of light and darkness had replaced the heart that was crushed by him. However, at this moment, the heart of light and darkness was completely engulfed by darkness. If darkness doesn't come out, how can there be light? Then today, I will transform into darkness and see the light after I break through. A terrifying light shot out from Wang Xian's eyes. At this moment, his eyes were extremely dark and deep while the light was as bright as the sun. He had some understanding of this heart of light and darkness. He transformed into darkness. He stood up after breaking through and saw the light. Go to hell. At this moment, terrifying attacks came at him one after another. 7 attacks that covered a radius of 7 to 8 kilometers directly submerged his body. Waves of terrifying energy charged at him. Is he dead? The 7 devil masters looked at the terrifying energy fluctuation caused by the explosion at the center. The ground had sunk into a huge pit that was at least tens of meters deep. There was no sound at all. Brother Wang Xian wouldn't. In the distance, He Yuan's face was slightly red as he stared at the center of the explosion. Slowly, he became embarrassed. Everyone from the He clan looked on in silence. The injuries on his body are too severe. He should have been killed. The white-haired old man said slowly and shook his head slightly. Roar. However, just as he finished his sentence, a terrifying roar was heard from the ruins of the ancient devil city. It stunned him slightly. Roar. Roar. 2 more violent and brutal roars were heard. A terrifying black demonic dragon charged into the sky once again. All of you must die. Wang Xian's emotionless voice rang out. His violent body attacked the 7 demon lords in the sky with a ferocious look. What? The 7 demon masters who were floating in the sky felt Wang Xian's even more terrifying aura. The injuries on their bodies had already recovered, and their faces were filled with shock. Chop off his head. The expression of the old man with the two-headed demon master changed as he shouted loudly. Chop him into 8 pieces. I want to see how he will recover. The other old man, who was holding a long blood-red saber, emitted a murderous aura as he slashed at Wang Xian. Roar! Facing 3 powerhouses at level 7 of the see-through realm, Wang Xian was not afraid at all. His entire body was shrouded in darkness. His consciousness became blurry again, and his desire to kill grew stronger. Boom! He raised his arm, and it turned into a radius of 3 kilometers. He went straight for the Devil Master, who was holding the blood-red long saber. The gigantic dragon claw was attacking a human. It was like a human crushing an ant. Break! When the blood-colored long saber demon master saw the gigantic dragon claw, he was not afraid at all. Instead, a 1,000-meter-long blade mark collided with it. Crack! 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 However, the blade mark collapsed instantly, causing the expression of the demon master to change drastically. Earlier on, Wang Xian had been avoiding their attacks. The group of demon masters did not feel the terror. When the 3,000-meter-long dragon claw fell, the terrifying devil aura on it easily destroyed his knife marks. It was like a devil claw that descended from the sky, clawing straight at him. Destroy it! The other 7 devil masters saw the blood-colored long knife devil master being attacked. The skulls, staffs, scythes, and blood swords in their hands attacked Wang Xian one after another. Heavenly Devil Dragon Gate. Sensing the attacks around him, the dragon scales on Wang Xian's body trembled slightly, for incomparably huge dragon gates appeared around him. On each dragon gate, there was a devil dragon rolling around, blocking the attacks one after another. His dragon claws continued to attack the blood-colored long-sabered devil master in front of him. The terrifying power of darkness and the indestructible dragon claws made the devil master reveal a horrified expression. Not good. What terrifying power. His expression changed drastically, wanting to dodge the incomparably huge dragon claws. However, the dragon claws were too big. When the dragon claws landed on his body, the terrifying power and darkness corrosion caused his eyes to widen, filled with despair. In front of such tyrannical and terrifying darkness energy, he felt that he deserved to be called the Demon Lord. The other side is... Chapter 1511. 1511. I said that only when there is light can there be light. Bang! A loud sound came from Wang Xian's dragon claw. Dark energy surged and a violent aura filled a radius of dozens of kilometers. One devil master had vanished into thin air. What? Use all of your strength. The expressions of the 6 surrounding devil masters changed drastically when they saw the death of the blood-colored long-sabered devil master. The two-headed devil master immediately roared loudly. Attack! If we can't kill a person of the same level, even if we join hands, we can kill ourselves. Kill! The devil master, who was covered in a black robe with a sickle in his hand, let out a cold and sinister roar. His body shook, and the black robe dissipated, revealing his pale body. There was a death god tattoo on his body. Boil! He roared, and darkness surged, causing his body to rapidly expand. The darkness energy covered him, and the material energy caused him to become 500 meters in size. His entire body was covered in darkness, and a sickle that was 700 to 800 meters long appeared in his hand, as if death had descended. Kiki, unleash all of your strength. The two-headed demon lord's body shook, and the shadow of a two-headed demon appeared behind him. Green-mouthed fangs, 2 hideous heads, 6 arms. The double-headed devil's shadow appeared behind him, thousands of meters in size, staring coldly at Wang Xian. I don't believe that even the first-class forces are afraid of our magnificent ancient city of demons. We can't kill a person of the same level. Jejejia, think I ruthless Sky Demon Lord, 3,000 years to kill millions of living beings. Everyone is afraid of me. Today, if I don't kill you, I will kill myself. Furious roars sounded from the side. The Devil Masters of ancient Devil City were all legendary figures in the vast region. They were not like those first-rate super forces that had powerful resources and backgrounds. They relied on fresh blood and corpses to step onto the path of Devil Masters. Every Devil Master was an existence that made people jittery. Now, an unknown creature had come to them and destroyed the ancient city of devils. Yet, he wanted to kill them. If word of this got out, everyone in the world would laugh at him. Who was the Devil Master? All the Devil Masters were completely enraged. They unleashed their strongest powers. Kill, kill, kill. An earth-shattering voice rang out. The soaring killing intent caused the entire sky to change color. The real battle had begun. The two-headed devil attacked Wang Xian. The Devil Lord, who was like the Grim Reaper, also charged forward. The Devil Lord, who was floating on the huge skull, also charged forward. Roar! Wang Xian was floating in the sky above the ruins of the ancient Devil City. He waved his dragon claw and drew 9 black shadows as he attacked them. 1 against 6. Hiss! Out of the 7 demon masters, 1 has been killed. The remaining 6 are still as terrifying as ever. They are more than terrifying. As demons, they will do anything in pursuit of strength. Among those of the same level, even I don't dare to say that I am a match for a demon master. The few elders of the He clan looked at this earth-shattering battle in shock. The sound of the battle here could be heard within a radius of a few hundred kilometers. Even though there were fewer humans around the ancient demon city, there were still some humans who were looking in their direction with bewildered expressions. Some of the braver ones were rushing over. Roar! 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 A brutal roar was heard once again. Wang Xian's body was waving his dragon claws as he fought with the 6 demon lords. Facing 6 existences of the same level, Wang Xian, who was completely shrouded in darkness, did not feel too much pressure. At his heart, he could feel the endless power of darkness being transmitted over. His entire body was filled with endless energy. However, compared to the energy of the 5 elements, the offensive power of darkness was much weaker. If not for the support of the heart of light and darkness, Wang Xian would definitely not be their opponent. Even so, he could not crush them now. However, his recovery ability and the power of darkness were extremely heaven-defying. The sickle slashed onto his body, leaving a 50-meter-long bloody scar with a depth of 2 to 3 meters. However, in less than 10 seconds, the sky was rapidly healing under the nourishment of the dark energy. Following that, Wang Xian once again fought vigorously against the 6 demon lords. Each of the 6 demon lords had experienced thousands of years of fighting. Their combat experience was extremely terrifying. When they joined forces, even Wang Xian wouldn't be able to kill them. Time passed slowly as they fought. The thunderous sound continued to spread in all directions. The moon hung high in the sky. The bright moonlight shone on the ground, reflecting the horrifying scene of the battle. What a terrifying recovery ability! If this goes on, we will be exhausted to death by him. The battle lasted for a full 2 hours. The group of demon masters used their Dharma idols for the second time, but they were still unable to kill Wang Xian. This made all of them extremely embarrassed. The continuous battle for 2 hours also made one of the demon masters break out in a cold sweat. He roared with an embarrassed expression. Kill. I don't believe that he can recover from his injuries without using any darkness energy. Continue to kill. The 2-headed demon lord's expression also became solemn. 2 hours ago, the demon lords who were arrogant and unruly were not looking too good at this moment. After 2 hours of intense fighting, all kinds of divine abilities and Dharma images continuously attacked. Even they felt exhausted. The battle continued. After half an hour, the faces of the demon lords became even more unsightly. Dragon Country in the palm, Dragon Head the world, Heavenly Devil Dragon Gate, Devil Scale Chain, Darkness Millstone. At this moment, an extremely pure darkness energy surged into Wang Xian's heart, causing his entire body to tremble. His pitch-black dragon eyes swept across the 6 demon lords and let out a violent roar. His body expanded rapidly, the dragon gate appeared, and the devil scale chain shook. Above it, there was a pitch-black millstone. What? He still has so many energy-release dermic forms. At this moment, when Wang Xian unleashed all his strongest attacks, the 6 demon masters in the surroundings were completely panicking. Less than 10% of the energy in their bodies was left. Now, that strange creature seemed to be at its peak. Run! The 2-headed demon master's eyes revealed a trace of panic. The 2 heads looked at each other, and without any hesitation, they directly fled into the sky. What? 2-headed demon master, what are you doing? The other 5 demon masters panicked when they saw the 2-headed demon master escape. They gritted their teeth and fled into the distance. Can we escape? I have already paid tribute to all the souls of the living beings in your ancient demon city. Wang Xian leaped up and the devil-scaled chain soared into the sky, wrapping around the 2-headed demon lord. His gigantic head opened wide and devoured the 2-headed demon lord. Damn it, Scram! The 2-headed demon lord cried out in fear. Streams of energy shot into the dragon's mouth to attack. However, they were only able to fight against Wang Xian in a 6-on-1 battle. Now that he had escaped, the other 5 demon lords scattered. How could he be a match for him alone? Under the moonlight, one could see the gigantic dragon head raising its head and devouring the 2-headed demon lord in the sky. Chapter 1512. 1512. I said that only when there is light can there be light. The bright moon was in the sky. From afar, one could see a huge dragon head heading straight for a human figure. Like a demon in the abyss, it suddenly opened its mouth to devour everything. The 2-headed demon lord appeared extremely tiny in front of the huge dragon mouth. It was completely devoured easily. Following that, there was no sound at all. Roar! After swallowing the 2-headed demon lord, Wang Xian let out a furious roar. The devil-scale chain in his hand started to coil around the demon lords. The darkness millstone spun and headed towards the 2 demon lords. Meanwhile, the heavenly devil dragon gate started to block the escape route of the demon lords. Damn the 2-headed demon lord. If we escape together, we still have a chance. Now, the demon lord who was holding the scythe in his hand roared with a gloomy expression as he fought for the entanglement of the demon scale chain. However, they had been fighting for nearly 3 hours and their strength was less than 30% of their peak. Under such circumstances, they were completely suppressed by Wang Xian. The huge dragon mouth was like an abyss as it devoured the demon lords one by one. Ah, I am not reconciled. I am not reconciled. Just because of a woman, you want to destroy everyone in our ancient demon city. You are the demon. You are the demon. A series of indignant and angry roars sounded. Even though they were all demon lords, compared to this crazy creature in front of them, they suddenly felt that they were still lacking. In front of this terrifying creature, they were not worthy of becoming devils. As the saying goes, if Wang Xian became a devil, there would be no devils in the world. The most terrifying ancient devil city in the entire vast region was known as the Devil Land by the people outside, while the people inside were known as devils. In just a few hours, all of them were killed. Many of them were devoured by that terrifying creature. Ah! Miserable screams sounded one after another. They were filled with unwillingness and despair, and they continued to ring out for the next few minutes. Along with the last scream, the entire world suddenly quieted down. There was no sound within a 100-kilometer radius. The entire ancient devil city had been turned into ruins. Not a single creature was still alive. Miserable, miserable, miserable. This was a true massacre of the city, a massacre that would destroy everything. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, a violent roar came out from Wang Xian's mouth. The voice traveled far, far away. One could hear it from thousands of miles away or even further away. After the roar, Wang Xian fell silent. His body landed directly in the middle of the ruins. His eyes were as deep as the abyss. He scanned his surroundings and slowly lowered his head to look at the location of his heart. Hiss, not a single one survived. Not a single one survived. This is ancient Demon City after all. It has always been the villains of ancient Demon City who annihilated other factions and families. Today, Someone actually annihilated ancient demon city. This is too terrifying. I never expected that young Master Wang would actually be this terrifying. The hearts of everyone from the He clan trembled. They were the core members of the He clan, the upper echelons of the He clan, and the upper echelons of first-rate factions. Even so, seeing ancient Devil City being destroyed with their own eyes, they were extremely shocked. This was especially so when 7 Devil Lords were killed on the spot. There was once a first-rate force that wanted to destroy ancient Devil City. In the end, when that rank 8 profound void martial expert had just arrived, the group of Devil Lords directly fled far away. They even said that if they dared to destroy their ancient Devil City, they would turn their territory into a bloody place. From then on, out of fear, that first-rate force did not dare to make a move. Once they encountered a strong enemy, the Demon Lord would immediately flee. It would be very difficult to destroy him. However, they did not expect to encounter such a terrifying existence of the same level. Clan Head he sighed slightly. The ancient demon city and the group of demon lords that shook the vast region were destroyed. After today, the entire vast region would definitely be in shock. Brother Wang Xian, how is it? He Yuan looked at Wang Xian, who had transformed into a dragon, from afar. He heaved a sigh of relief and stared at him with flickering eyes. If you guys don't say it, I can't believe that this is just a young man in his 20s. This young man is really a monster. In the future, Yuan make friends with him. The white-haired elder said slowly to He Yuan. It's the patriarch. He Yuan nodded his head. Lin Yaoyao and He Suiqing, who were at the side, were looking at him with sparkling eyes. They were exclaiming in their hearts. If he didn't fall in 10 years, he would definitely be a legend. The moonlight shone on the 100-meter-long body of the demon dragon. Wang Xian's tyrannical heart calmed down a lot. Ha ha ha, what I seek for the Dark Ones is eternal life in the darkness and eternal life in the slaughter. At this moment, the tyrannical voice came from his heart once again. The emotions that Wang Xian had just calmed down became irritable again, causing him to have the urge to destroy the world. Where there is darkness, there will definitely be light. Darkness will bring death, and light will bring life. Where there is good, there will be opposition. Chaos will turn into 9, and the 2 poles will merge. Darkness will fade, and dawn will revive. Just when Wang Xian was about to lose control, a gentle voice rang out once again, suppressing his violent emotions. One of his dragon eyes slowly turned into light. Haha, what light? If I become a demon, there will be no demons in the world. Wherever I go, there will be no light. It will only bring endless darkness. My world is the world of other living beings. Just as that gentle voice fell, that brutal voice sounded again. It seemed to be competing with that gentle voice. Where darkness comes, it can bring darkness, but it cannot destroy light. The gentle voice retorted. What kind of light do you want? What you want is eternal life, slaughter, and blood. Roar, roar. That brutal voice roared wildly. We are the souls of the light and dark Dragon King. The balance between light and dark was broken by you, Junior. The heart of light and dark has already fused into your body. Darkness is invading. If you want to completely control the heart of light and dark, you need to do the following 4 things. Eliminate a wisp of our remnant souls, maintain the original heart, balance between light and dark, and fuse light and dark. Remember this. Get lost. The gentle voice continued to speak. However, the violent voice came directly at him. Wang Xian laid there in a daze. As he listened to the gentle voice, he had a slight understanding in his heart. It turned out that the loss of control of his emotions was the cause of the heart of light and darkness. Kill, kill, kill. Whoever dares to disobey me, kill them all. Destroy, destroy everything that is not pleasing to the eye. Let's create a new world that belongs to us. The violent voice kept ringing in his mind. Wang Xian lay there quietly with a ferocious expression. His breathing was slightly rushed due to the influence of the darkness. With a thought, one sculpture after another appeared in the dragon claw. When he saw Ling Jian Er's sculpture, his heart was filled with another wave of violence. However, when his gaze landed on the female sculptures of Guan Shuqing, Lan Qingyue, and his sister, he felt a wave of calmness and warmth in his heart. Time passed slowly. This one lie of his lasted for an entire night. His brutal voice never stopped. A ray of dawn sunlight shone over and landed on Wang Xian's pitch-black body. Roar! At this moment, Wang Xian suddenly raised his head. His pitch-black eyes became extremely clear. If I become a demon, there will be no demons in the world. If I have light, then there will be light. A voice that reverberated for over 10,000 kilometers shook the world. When Wang Xian's voice rang out, his body gradually shrank and returned to his human form. At this moment, his eyes were extremely determined. He spoke with a voice that only he could hear. My name is Wang Xian. Chapter 1513. 1513 stepped on the light, searching for the balance between light and darkness. My name is Wang Xian. The 4 words came out of his mouth firmly. His eyes were clear and bright. Wang Xian extended his hand and slowly touched the location of his heart. A strong heartbeat was transmitted. The heart of light and darkness had completely integrated into his heart. However, at this moment, the dark area still occupied 90% of his heart, while the light only occupied 10%. The rest of his body was filled with the energy of the 5 elements. The energy of the 5 elements suppressed the darkness and balanced the power of light. According to the Light and Dark Dragon King, in order to completely control the heart of light and darkness, we need 4 points. We need to remove a remnant of our soul and maintain the original heart. The balance between light and darkness and the fusion of light and darkness. The remnant soul of the Light and Dark Dragon King has been removed and the original heart has basically been maintained. Next is the balance between light and darkness and the fusion of light and darkness. The last 2 points must be achieved or else. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. The heart of light and dark had already entered his body. Once he could not achieve the balance between light and dark, the combination of light and dark would trigger darkness to envelop his body when he encountered some stimulation. At that time, it would affect his original heart. Just like before, he had almost lost his mind and killed more than 1 million people. Fortunately, the ancient demon city was filled with extremely vicious sinners, which reduced his psychological pressure. The heart of light and darkness was still a ticking time bomb to Wang Xian. If he was not careful, he would explode the people around him. If he was not careful, he would turn into a demonic dragon and destroy all living things. It seems like I have to find a way to balance the light and darkness. Wang Xian was deep in thought. Brother Wang Xian, are you all right? At this moment, He Yuan's excited voice came from more than 10 kilometers away. His figure was flying over quickly. I'm fine. Wang Xian looked at He Yuan and the rest of the He clan. He hesitated for a moment before saying, Brother He Yuan, I'm sorry. I have to solve my physical problems. We will meet again soon. As he spoke, he turned around and flew straight to the front. Brother Wang Xian. He Yuan was slightly stunned. He opened his mouth and called out softly. Then, he stopped. This young master Wang Xian should be fine now. However, he should have some matters to settle. The He clan leader flew over and patted He Yuan's shoulder gently. I know, father. He Yuan nodded his head. The new wave is pushing the new wave forward. The white-haired elder sighed slightly. His gaze swept across the ancient demon city that had been completely razed to the ground. He was in a daze. The matters here will soon shock the entire vast region. Let's go. Everyone from the He clan looked at the ruins beneath them and then at the young man who had left. Their eyes were filled with complicated emotions. Some of the He clan members almost worshipped him. What a shocking piece of news. The ancient devil city was razed to the ground in a single night. 7 devil lords were annihilated, and 1 million sinners were all killed. Listen to the world's latest announcement. Come and take a look. The Divine Light Imperial City was the capital of a first-rate empire, the Divine Light Empire. It was a huge city with a population of 30 million. The entire imperial city covered an area of 100 kilometers. On a bustling street, A young man waved a newspaper in his hand as he shouted at the people on the street. What? Ancient Devil City has been razed to the ground? How is this possible? That's an existence that even first-rate factions don't dare to provoke. There shouldn't be anything wrong with the news from the world. Quick, go take a look and see if a super faction has taken action. Heavens, the ancient Devil City, that city of sin, has been destroyed. Everyone on the surrounding streets was slightly shocked when they heard this news. They all looked at the shops in Harmony World in shock as they walked over to buy the newspaper that contained this news. On one side of the street, a youth dressed in pure white clothes with a warm smile on his face revealed a faint smile when he heard this news. He held a scepter of light in his hand and was dressed in a holy manner. He looked like a priest that was unique to the Divine Light Empire. "Give me a candied fruit." The young man was Wang Xian. He said to an old man selling candied fruit with a smile on his face. "All right, young master priest, 10 low-grade spirit stones." A smile appeared on the old man's face. He passed a candied fruit to Wang Xian and said, "Keep the change." Wang Xian handed the old man a middle-grade spirit stone and continued walking forward with the candied gourd in his hand. Oh my God! The one who destroyed the ancient demon city was not one of the 3 superpowers. Instead, it was a terrifying dark creature. Not a single person in the entire ancient demon city survived. All of them were killed. If I become a demon, there will be no demons in the world. What a domineering statement. Does this mean that if I become a demon, even the demon masters in the ancient demon city cannot be considered as demons? This is too domineering. Also, that sentence where I say light is light, doesn't that mean I let you have light and you have light? What kind of creature is this? Why is it so overbearing? This strength is too terrifying. It's said that the 2 sentences in the newspaper spread throughout the ancient Devil City for 10,000 miles, and everyone within 10,000 miles heard it. Is that creature transformed by a human's bloodline? Why is it speaking human language? Other creatures wouldn't say such words, right? Sky Demon. Heading World calls that creature Sky Demon. It's the only Sky Demon in the world. It's even more savage than the sinners in ancient Devil City. Sky Demon deserves it. What the hell? Which faction dares to provoke such a terrifying creature? They even dare to destroy ancient Devil City. That's over 1 million people. I think this Lord Sky Demon is too handsome. There's not a single good person in ancient Devil City. All of them deserve to die. Well done. Support Lord Sky Demon. As they walked along the streets, they heard a series of shocked voices from the side. Many people rushed towards the Heading World shop with shocked faces. Bang! I'm sorry. It's all right. A young man walked towards the Heading World shop with a curious face. He accidentally bumped into Wang Xian. Wang Xian shook his head lightly. He looked calm as he listened to the shocked voices around him. He was holding the scepter of light and eating candied haws. One look, and one could tell that he was a harmless young man. No one would have thought that such a young man was a terrifying existence that shocked the entire vast region. In just a few short days, the news of the destruction of the ancient demon city had spread across the entire vast region. The reactions of all the places were almost the same as the people of the Divine Light Empire. The places closer to the ancient city of demons were even more intense. The word Sky Demon had entered the eyes of every major faction. Even the super factions had classified the Sky Demon as a dangerous character. The He clan's Heading World actually gave themselves such a name. Under the sunlight, Wang Xian stepped on the light and headed towards the position of the Employment Association. He shook his head slightly. Step on the light and find the balance between light and darkness. Chapter 1514. 1514 Priest of Light. Stepping on the light, seeking the balance between light and darkness. Ever since Wang Xian left the ancient demon city, he walked aimlessly for 2 days. Finally, he arrived at the Divine Light Imperial City of the Divine Light Empire. The Divine Light Empire was an empire that mainly cultivated the light attribute. It was considered to be one of the top powers in the entire vast region. Wang Xian came here to find the path of light. After staying here for 7 days, other than peace, he didn't gain much. However, the power of light at the location of his heart had obviously increased a little. Although it wasn't much, there was still 5% of it. Wang Xian followed the crowd and headed towards the location of the Employment Association. The Employment Association in the Divine Light Imperial City wasn't located in the center of the Imperial City. Instead, it was located not far from the 4 city gates in the east, west, south, and north. A priest is required to head to the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. The main support and treatment are required. The required cultivation level is above level 8 of the Extraordinaire. A warrior of light is required to head to the forest of the Divine Kingdom. The required cultivation level is above level 5 of the Extraordinaire. Those who are not required to go, come and register immediately. When Wang Xian arrived at the hiring association at the North Gate, voices were heard. As a hiring association in the Imperial City, the entire association was extremely luxurious. Tens of thousands of people were gathered here. Some of them were accepting missions while others were looking for team members. The entire association was bustling with activity. Wang Xian looked at the missions listed on the mission list with a smile on his face. This is the mission for the Holy Medicine Clinic. He swept his gaze around and found a mission that suited him. Immediately, he walked to the front desk to accept the mission. Take the mission token and go to the Holy Medicine Clinic not far away to accept the mission assessment. The staff member handed him the token and spoke to him faintly. Wang Xian nodded and walked out immediately. The Holy Medicine Clinic was just like its name. It was a clinic. The clinic was the most famous place in the Divine Light Empire. There was no such thing as a clinic in the Luhai region. However, due to the existence of the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, the Divine Light Empire had given birth to a clinic. The Divine Light Empire mainly focused on the light attribute. The light attribute was on par with the wood attribute when it came to healing and support. It was slightly higher than the water attribute. However, due to the existence of the ruins of God's kingdom, the Divine Light Empire's medical center had flourished. It also gave birth to a special support class for the Divine Light Empire. Radiant Priest. Radiant Priest was a purely support class that focused on healing and dispelling. Although their combat abilities were not strong, their support and healing abilities were extremely powerful. They were very popular in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. In order to balance the light and darkness, one must first maintain one's heart and second, one must temper the light. The job of a priest of light is suitable for one. There's no need to fight, just to calm one's emotions. Wang Xian walked towards the Holy Medicine Clinic with a smile on his face. Not far away from the Employment Association was the Holy Medicine Clinic. It was not a very big clinic, and it was barely reputable in the Divine Light Empire. Hello, I have accepted the mission from your clinic. When Wang Xian arrived at the front of the clinic, he found more than 20 young men, women, middle-aged men, and even elders standing at the entrance. There were a few horse carriages at the entrance, and they were about to set off. Has someone accepted the mission again? It's still a young man. We are about to set off now. Can you set off with us immediately? If it's a commission, I'll give you some more. An old woman who was emitting a faint light looked at Wang Xian and asked him directly. Don't we need to take the assessment? Wang Xian was slightly surprised and asked with a smile. Do you have the strength of an extraordinary level 5? If you do, we will set off once we get in the car. We are in urgent need of manpower now. The old woman looked at Wang Xian and wanted to check his strength. However, she couldn't sense it and asked. Yes, we can set off now. Wang Xian nodded his head. That's good. Come, help these ladies carry the things. The old lady smiled and said to him immediately. Wang Xian nodded his head and walked over immediately. Handsome, help me put this in the car. You're just a boy. How did you become a radiant priest? A woman handed him a radiant spiritual herb that was planted in a pot and asked, Why can't a man become a priest of light? Wang Xian smiled and looked around. He realized that there were more women. Among them, there were only a few middle-aged men holding long swords. They stood there with a proud look on their faces. They didn't move and didn't come to help. Looking at the badges on their chests, they were from a mercenary group. Men usually choose warriors of the light. There are very few priests, but it's not like there aren't any. The woman smiled at him. Only a coward man would choose a priest of the light. At this moment, a young man with his arms crossed looked at Wang Xian with slight disdain and said faintly, "Li Si, stop talking." The middle-aged man glared at him. Wang Xian smiled faintly and didn't say anything. "We are heading to the Holy Medicine Clinic in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. The journey of 30,000 miles will take 4 days. In the middle, we have to cross a corner of the forest of the Divine Kingdom. Let's go." At this moment, the old woman walked over and said to Wang Xian and the rest, "All priests, enter the central carriage. We will escort you with the judicial mercenary group. We will ensure your safe arrival." An old man said with confidence. His body moved and he rode on a fierce beast. "Let's go, priests and beauties. Let me know if you need anything." The young man named Li Si looked at the female priests with a smile. "Okay, handsome." A girl squinted her eyes and said sweetly, "Haha." Li Si smiled and sat on a fierce beast with her chest raised. She was handsome and unrestrained. The old woman spoke to the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group. Then, she beckoned to all the radiant priests. Wang Xian followed behind them and walked towards the car in the middle. The Holy Medicine Clinic wasn't very strong. The strongest person behind it was only at level 3 of the see-through realm. He didn't have the ability to buy an airship and fly there directly. As he entered the car, a fragrance was immediately emitted. He swept his gaze over and saw that there were a total of 9 people inside. Other than an old man with a broken leg, the rest were all women. There were 4 young girls, 3 middle-aged women, and the old woman. "Hello, young man. Please sit beside me." The old man with a broken leg patted the seat beside him and said with a smile, "Thank you, uncle." Wang Xian nodded and sat beside the old man. The old man only had 1 leg and was holding a scepter of light. There was a long wound on his face, and he looked a little ferocious. "What's your name, young man? Let me introduce you. I'm the priest of the Holy Light Clinic and the person in charge of your clinic." The old woman asked Wang Xian with a smile. "My name is Wang Xian." Wang Xian nodded with a smile. Chapter 1515. 1515 on the 1515 Purification Bar. The carriage started. According to the old lady's brief introduction, Wang Xian had a rough understanding of them. There were 4 female students. Among them, 3 of them were priests of light who were temporarily hired by the hiring association. They possessed the strength of a level 5 supernatural being. The other female student who was wearing the uniform of the Holy Herb Medicine Shop belonged to the internal staff of the Holy Herb Medicine Shop. She had the strength of a transcendent level 7. The 3 middle-aged women and the old man were also internal staff of the Holy Medicine Clinic. As the car left the city, Wang Xian took out a book about the Priest of Light from his interspatial ring. These books were all cultivation methods that he bought when he came to the Divine Light Imperial City. Many of them were bought by him at a high price. The Radiant Priest was a very special profession, and it was also a relatively new profession. Currently, the strongest Radiant Priest was an ancestor of the Divine Light Empire, who had a cultivation base of level 8 Insight Void tier. It was said that the ancestor of the Divine Light Empire had a terrifying healing ability, and it was said that as long as he did not die, he could be saved. However, the Radiant Priest had a fatal flaw, and that was that his combat ability was relatively weak. Perhaps even a Radiant Priest at the 2nd level of the Void Interpretation stage was not a match for a powerhouse at the peak of the 1st level of the Void Interpretation stage. Due to his weak combat ability, there were very few strong people who chose this job. However, a powerful Radiant Priest had a very strong role in a team. You shouldn't be a student of the Divine Light Priest Academy, right? There are very few male students in the Priest Academy. I don't think you are one of them. Just as Wang Xian was flipping through the books, a female student's curious voice came from the side. The female student's eyes flickered slightly as she looked at the young priest. Wang Xian, who was sitting there calmly, gave off a feeling of quietness. In addition to his extraordinary good looks and outstanding temperament, she couldn't help but ask. No. Wang Xian shook his head lightly. Did you join the Radiant Priest's profession halfway? The other girls looked at Wang Xian and revealed a faint smile. One of the girls shook her head even more. Joining the Radiant Priest's profession halfway meant that he wasn't professional. Furthermore, it also meant that he wasn't strong enough. Otherwise, why would he join halfway? Wang Xian nodded. It's fine if you join midway. When the time comes, you can follow behind Old Hu and help him treat some people who are weak. Speaking of which, Old Hu joined the profession of the Priest of Light halfway. Now, he is somewhat famous in our holy medicine shop. The old woman said to Wang Xian lightly. How can it be the same? Old Hu used to be a powerful warrior. If he was not eroded by the darkness and the ruins of the divine kingdom, he might have become a void walker now. A girl said to the one-legged old man in a fawning manner. Hee, things are pretty good now. Pretty good. The old man smiled faintly. Although his face was a little ferocious, he was very amiable. He looked at Wang Xian and said with a smile, You are still young. Learn more. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. The car quieted down once again. Wang Xian flipped through the book in his hand. The rest of the people were either cultivating or closing their eyes to rest. When the girl found out that Wang Xian had switched his cultivation to the Radiant Priest, she stopped talking to him. This was the world of the strong. It was useless for a person who had achieved nothing. No matter how handsome he was, it would be useless. Wang Xian was also happy to be in peace. One by one, the divine powers of light were imprinted into his body. Holy light, healing, exorcism, light shield, light rain, purification, light speech, hand of divine light, powerful healing, finger regeneration. There were more than 10 types of supernatural powers. Among them, there were many techniques related to the use of light energy. It could also be due to the heart of light and darkness. Wang Xian saw the cultivation methods related to these supernatural powers and quickly comprehended them. The system notifications kept ringing out. Following that, he converted these supernatural powers into Dharma idols. The process was extremely smooth as he directly comprehended the 3 Dharma idols of holy light, healing, and exorcism. The car quickly flew in the air and headed towards the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. The ruins of the Divine Kingdom was one of the most important areas in the vast region. It was also a place that all the factions hoped to control. The so-called ruins of the Divine Kingdom was a domain created by a powerful longevity realm expert. It was a divine kingdom created for him to become a god. However, it was clear that the once peerless expert had not broken through to a higher realm. Wansho was also known as a demigod. If a demigod wanted to break through to God, they had to have their own divine kingdom. That area was also the origin of the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Rest for an hour and build a fire to eat? After driving for about a day, the cars outside stopped. The people from the judicial mercenary group shouted at them. Go out and eat something. The old woman said to them and walked out immediately. A few women and girls walked out immediately. Wang Xian got out of the car and looked around at the endless grassland. Beautiful lady, I have some delicious conch meat here. Do you want to eat it together? The young man named Li Si said to a girl. Sure. The girl walked over happily and sat with the young man. Wang Xian took out some simple food from his interspatial ring and started to eat. Young man, have some cooked food. At this moment, the old man walked over and handed Wang Xian a piece of meat. Thank you, Uncle Hu. Wang Xian smiled and took it without hesitation. Do you want some wine? Old Hu was very old. He was at least 1,000 years old and had the strength of a half-step void interpretation. He held a wine flask and gestured to Wang Xian. No, I like tea. Wang Xian shook his head. He took out a teacup from his interspatial ring and poured himself a cup. Haha, young man, with your attitude, you are very close to the priest of light. The priest is not bad too. At least he can live longer. Old Hu said with a smile. Drinking tea and being a priest of light can calm people down. I don't like killing. Wang Xian said plainly. You don't like killing? In this world, everyone can't escape from killing. Old Who shook his head. He took a big bite of meat and a sip of wine. Then, he laid back on the chair leisurely. If you don't like killing, I can tell you a way. You don't have to kill. Oh. Wang Xian looked at Old Who curiously. What way? Purify it. Ha ha. Purify all filth and all evil. As Old Who spoke, he couldn't help but laugh out loud. Wang Xian was slightly stunned when he heard Old Who's words. Then what is evil? Evil? There is no evil. Tell me, that sky demon destroyed more than 1,000,000 lives in the ancient demon city and 7 demon lords. Do you think he is evil? In the eyes of some people, he's a sky demon, the most terrifying and evil existence. However, in the eyes of some people, he destroyed more than 1,000,000 sinners. He's a good person, a kind person. The old man slowly said. Chapter 1516. 1516 in the 1516 Purification Bar. Then Uncle Who, do you think that the sky demon is an evil person or a good person? Wang Xian heard what Old Who said and asked thoughtfully. To be able to destroy millions of lives in one night, do you think he is an evil person or a good person? Old Who asked with a smile. An evil person, Wang Xian replied. Everyone has a judgment. In a world where the strong are respected, good and bad cannot be distinguished. The strong and weak can be distinguished. Killing does not represent a person's good and bad. Old Who smiled and said with a smile. Then, Uncle Who, what's the difference between darkness and light? Wang Xian continued to ask Old Who. What's the difference between darkness and light? Haha, young man, I, an old man, can answer your question. I became a radiant priest halfway through. Do you know what attribute I cultivated before I became a radiant priest? Darkness attribute. You wouldn't believe it, right? I once cultivated darkness attribute and was attacked by darkness in the ruins of the divine kingdom. I lost all my strength and survived. After surviving, I became an ordinary person without any cultivation. I wasn't even comparable to a child and couldn't cultivate darkness attribute. Later, I changed to light attribute and became a radiant priest. Let me tell you, there is no difference between darkness and light. The difference lies in the controller of darkness and light. Old Who drank his wine and chatted with him. Wang Xian nodded as he was deep in thought. Listening to Uncle Who's words really benefited me a lot. Wang Xian raised the teacup in his hand and said faintly, Haha, you are interesting. You are like an old man at such a young age. The tiger patted his shoulder. During this period of time, Wang Xian had entered a misunderstanding. His heart was focused on the light, and he could not obtain the light. Strength was cultivated by oneself. The so-called instant enlightenment and instant godhood was a complete lie. Focusing on one's heart was the correct path of cultivation. Wang Xian understood in his heart. Some of the shackles in his heart were slowly lifted. Let's go. Not long after, a voice was heard. Let's go. Old Who kept his things and walked into the car. You guys go first. I'm outside. I won't enter the car. The girl who was standing beside Lisi said. The old woman nodded her head, and the rest of the group returned to the car. The few women were obviously more familiar with the few girls as they conversed in a low voice. Wang Xian was still reading the books about the priest of light. Although he had a deeper understanding of the heart of light and darkness, he could use another method to balance the light and darkness. However, he did not leave. The trip to the ruins of the kingdom of God could also solve the problem of the balance of light and darkness. Furthermore, he was confident that he could balance the light and darkness within 2 months at most. This made him in a good mood. There is a corner of the kingdom of God forest ahead. After traveling for 1,000 kilometers, we will reach the kingdom of God forest. Everyone, pay attention. After traveling for more than 2 days, the voices of the Judgment Mercenary Group could be heard from outside. Young man, this is your first time coming to the Kingdom of God Ruins. The Kingdom of God Ruins is huge. The forest around the Kingdom of God Ruins is even bigger, and there are many dangers inside. Even if it's just a corner of the forest of the kingdom of God, it's still extremely dangerous. Old Hu said to Wang Xian from the side. With the people from the Judgment Mercenary Group around, we will be fine. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group has the strength of a half-step void interpretation stage. A female student at the side said confidently, "This is my first time here too. I want to go out and take a look." As she spoke, she immediately went out to look for a young man named Li Si. "It's good to be young. Young man, your looks are not bad. You can also..." Haha. Old Hu teased Wang Xian. Looks are a part of it, but strength is also a part of it. A girl in the car said softly, "You're right. We priests of light have to find someone who can protect us." A woman nodded in agreement. "Hey, what are you guys talking about? This old man is still looking for a wife." Haha. Old Hu heard their conversation and said with a smile, "Old priest Hu, you are very strong. You can find him even if you want to." The girl next to him immediately said with a smile. Wang Xian smiled at the side. "Ah, be careful, be careful." At this moment, a scream and exclamation came from outside. The old lady in the car was slightly shocked. What happened? He quickly walked out. Old Hu also frowned slightly. We have walked this road more than 10 times. Usually, we rarely encounter powerful demonic beasts. Let's go out. As he spoke, he walked out immediately as well. Wang Xian and the rest followed closely behind. Hiss, it's a natural moat demon. It's actually a natural moat demon. As soon as Wang Xian walked out, he saw an endless forest in front of him. The trees in this forest were not green or cyan in color. Instead, they were black, pitch-black trees. An exclamation came from the old lady's mouth. She stared at a black shadow on the surrounding trees with an extremely embarrassed expression. The humanoid black shadow was 2 meters tall. They only had one eye, located between their eyebrows. The eye was very long and looked very terrifying. It had long arms, sharp claws, and its entire body was covered in sharp thorns. Heavenly Moat Demons, a group of powerful demonic beasts in the Divine Kingdom Forest. More than 10 heavenly moat demons stood on the trees in front of them, staring at them with a bloodthirsty eye. 15 natural moat demons. We're in trouble now. Old Hu looked at the more than 10 demons in front of him, and his pupils contracted slightly. He took a deep breath. How could it be? How could there be more than 10 natural moat demons in this corner? No, no. The girls and women behind him looked at them with fear on their faces. More than 30 humans, that's too little. In the middle, a moat demon held a corpse in his hand and was tearing at it, making a terrifying sound. His mouth was split open to the bottom of his eyes, and his teeth were densely packed. Gulp. We're willing to take out everything. Can you let us off? At this moment, the leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group gulped and said to the 15 moat demons in fear. Among the 15 demons, the lowest was at level 9 of the supernatural realm. Half of them were at the half-step void interpretation realm. On the other hand, the Judgment Mercenary Group only had 2 half-step void interpretation realm demons. They were no match for them at all. Prepare to escape. At this moment, Old Hu's voice rang in the ears of Wang Xian and the rest. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. However, the moment Old Hu's voice faded, all the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group, who were holding onto their weapons, fled to the back. This action made the faces of Old Hu and the others extremely ugly. Run, life or death is up to fate. Old Hu roared and immediately turned around. Boom, boom, boom. However, just as they were about to escape, a sword light slashed directly in front of them. This was to use their lives to buy them a little time. Chapter 1517. 1517 Under the Purification Bar. Damn it, the Judgment Mercenary Group, when you encounter danger, not only do you not protect your employer, you want us to buy you time. In the Divine Kingdom Forest, when a sword light directly landed in front of them, blocking their path, Old Hu and the others revealed angry expressions. The old woman could not help but loudly rebuke them. Life and death are in the hands of fate. Don't blame us. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group said with a ruthless expression. They knew that once the heavenly moat demons encountered humans, they would definitely not let them off. Therefore, they pretended to beg for mercy, buying some time before turning around and escaping. As for the hiring, in front of their lives, the mission was no longer important. Today, it was already good enough for them to be able to save their lives. How could this be? Li Si, save me, save me. At this moment, the body of a girl who was standing at the front had already frozen. She looked at the youth who had directly escaped and looked at the ferocious, heavenly moat demon in front of her. Her face revealed a terrified expression. Cunning humans, escape? Can you escape? Not good. They have surrounded the entire area. It's over. It's over. We're completely finished. There are still 10 heavenly moat demons. Suddenly, when the old woman, Old Hu, and the others saw the sword light disappear and were about to escape, a terrified and despairing expression came from the front. They hurriedly looked over and found that the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group who were about to escape were slowly retreating towards them. The heavenly moat demon is very intelligent. How could he let you escape so easily? Old Hu's face was ashen as he looked around. His face was so gloomy that it was almost dripping blood. He looked at the old woman beside him. Everyone, come to my side. The old woman moved her hand, and a formation compass appeared in her hand. Kill them. Don't let them hide in the formation. The heavenly moat demon saw the formation compass appear in the old woman's hand, and immediately opened his huge mouth and roared. Quick, quick! The old woman roared loudly, and a light barrier covered their surroundings. Wait for us, we'll enter too, we'll enter too. The two half-step void interpretation experts of the Judgment Mercenary Group saw the formation light up, and a trace of hope appeared on their faces. Their figures moved, and they directly flew in this direction. Just as the Judgment Mercenary Group fled into the formation, miserable screams sounded. In the surroundings, a group of heavenly moat demons had already attacked them. Those weaker members were directly captured and turned into food. Quick! The Judgment Mercenary Group revealed terrified expressions, and they desperately fled into the formation. You people of the Judgment Mercenary Group are shameless enough to come back. Seeing that they wanted to rush in, the old woman's face was extremely gloomy. Let us in. There's hope in numbers. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group shouted anxiously. He was very fast, and just as the array was about to close, he directly rushed in. Hurry up! He looked at the demons around him and shouted at his subordinates. Pung pung pung. The members of the Judgment Mercenary Group rushed in one by one. The array was just about to close. Zzz. A terrifying power landed on the array, emitting a sound of corrosion. Do you think we can't break through a level 1 void interpretation array? All of you humans will become our food. Brutal sounds came from outside as attacks fell one after another. Boom! With a loud sound, ripples and roars appeared on the formation. Judgment Mercenary Group, I didn't expect you to be so despicable. Not only did you run away, you even wanted us to stay behind. You guys are really ruthless. A woman saw their Judgment Mercenary Group enter the formation and roared angrily. Because the members of the Holy Medicine Hall were all together, the array formation directly enveloped them. Even the girl at the front was also enveloped. Now you still want to stay inside our array formation. Let me tell you, our Holy Medicine Hall will not let you off this matter. The old woman turned her head and stared at the Judgment Mercenary Group with a cold expression. We only made this decision in a moment of desperation. The members of the Judgment Mercenary Group said with a somewhat embarrassed expression. Let's not talk about this for now. We don't even know if we'll be able to escape this time. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group glanced at the old woman and the others with a gloomy expression and looked around the array formation. Pung pung pung. The void interpretation first rank array formation won't be able to stop us for long. Break it for me and eat them. A violent collision roar came from outside, causing their expressions to constantly change. Father, What should we do? The formation can only last for 5 minutes at most. After 5 minutes, what should we do? Lisi walked over with a face full of fear and said in fear, "Hee hee, a bunch of cowards. Since they are surrounded by the heavenly moat demons, they can only fight since they can't escape. The array can only last for 3 minutes at most." Old who held the scepter of light in his hand and looked around helplessly. What? Only 3 minutes? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I just took the graduation exam. I don't want to die. A few girls heard Old Who's words and shouted in fear. The eyes of the 3 women were filled with fear. A sense of despair slowly spread. Wang Xian stood there and coldly glanced at the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group. He looked at the demons outside. "Young man, you are not afraid in such a situation. Your courage is commendable." At this moment, Old Who's exclamation could be heard from the side. He passed a jug of wine over. Wine strengthens one's courage. It's just a few demonic beasts below the insightful void tier. They can't die, so why are you afraid? Wang Xian said to him nonchalantly. Old Who was slightly stunned by his words and looked at him in astonishment. Around him, the old woman and the 3 women who were closer looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. "Young man, you have a solution?" The old woman looked at Wang Xian with uncertainty and asked in anticipation. "They're just a bunch of animals. Just kill them directly." Wang Xian said with a smile. "Kill? How do I kill them? You make it sound so easy?" Lisi looked at Wang Xian and growled with an embarrassed expression. "Of course, your judicial mercenary group will be the ones to kill them. Aren't you responsible for our safety?" Wang Xian looked at them indifferently. You motherfucker. Crack, crack. Ah, the formation is about to crack." Just as Li Si was about to curse out loud, the sound of the formation cracking was heard in horror. Everyone looked over in horror. Cracks appeared on the formation. "Young man, if you have any ideas, just say it now. An old man like me can't take it. If not, it would be worth it even if I die." Lao Hu's expression changed slightly as he said bitterly to Wang Xian. "Holy light illumination, exorcism, light shield." Wang Xian waved his arm and a staff appeared in his hand. Beams of holy light landed on their bodies. Chapter 1518. 1518 1518's mind was clear. Holy light shone. Exorcism, light shield. His calm voice resounded within the array. Soon after, the entire space was enveloped by light. Above their heads, a halo that was like the sun shone on them. Strips of light that were like talisman paper floated around them. There were also light shields that revolved around everyone. The powerful light energy stunned all of them. What a powerful light energy! Old who was closest to them, could not help but exclaim in shock. Around them, the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group had shocked expressions. They looked at the holy light shining above their heads and the light shields in front of them. They were extremely shocked. The solid light shield floating around them felt that it could at least withstand the attack of a half-step void interpretation stage powerhouse. Such terrifying light power is probably not lower than. Open the formation. Let the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group kill the demonic beasts around us. The old woman gulped as she felt the power of light in front of her. Before she could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by Wang Xian. Yes, yes. At this moment, the old woman looked at Wang Xian with a hint of respect in her eyes. She quickly removed the formation. Kill these demons first. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group looked at Wang Xian with a change in expression. When he saw the formation being removed, he ordered his members loudly. Leader, I'm afraid. The light energy around you can protect you. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group immediately shouted loudly. Roar, roar, kill them. Before the Judgment Mercenary Group could make a move, a group of heavenly moat demons charged over. Kill. Everyone from the Judgment Mercenary Group gritted their teeth and attacked the heavenly moat demons. The rest of you, assist them from the back. The old woman immediately shouted when she saw this. A few women and girls immediately used the light support divine ability. As a radiant priest, although his combat strength was weak, his support was very strong. Roar, roar, eat them. When the formation was broken, 25 Heaven's Moat demons charged over. Each of them had at least the strength of a rank 9 transcendent. They charged towards the members of the Judgment Mercenary Group. The members of the Judgment Mercenary Group, who were only at the level of a rank 6 or rank 7 transcendent, felt the dark energy charging towards them. They gulped in fear. They looked at the light shields, holy light illumination, and exorcism surrounding their bodies. They gritted their teeth and charged towards the demons. A rank 7 transcendent met a half-step void interpretation demon with his sword. At the moment of collision, he closed his eyes in fear. Kiki, go to hell. When the demon saw that this weak human dared to attack him, his eyes revealed a look of disdain. His sharp claws slashed at the sword in his hand. However, when the heavenly moat demon's claws landed on the longsword that was illuminated by the holy light easily broke through his sharp claws. A painful and unbelievable voice rang out. What? The transcendent level 7 middle-aged man opened his eyes. When he saw this scene, a look of shock appeared on his face. Go to hell. He immediately reacted, and the long sword in his hand that was covered in light slashed towards the heavenly moat demon. The powerful power of light directly broke through the heavenly moat demon's body. A blood-curdling scream sounded, and the heavenly moat demon died. Haha, I actually killed him, haha. His face revealed an excited expression as he shouted loudly. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, miserable screams came from the surroundings, causing him to be slightly stunned. He hurriedly looked over and discovered that every member of his team was brandishing the sharp swords in their hands, easily killing one heavenly moat demon after another. This was especially so for the group leader and the others, who had even killed 2 to 3 heavenly moat demons. These were heavenly moat demons that were on the same level as the group leader. Shocking. Incomparable shocking. Bathed in the power of light, they were actually able to easily kill demon beasts that were 2 or 3 levels higher than them. Moreover, even if they were hit, the light shield in front of them could easily block the moat demon's attacks. Wasn't this light support too terrifying? Was the support effect of a radiant priest so strong? Yes, but only an extremely powerful radiant priest could do it. Run. There's a powerful radiant priest among them. Run immediately. At this moment, a moat demon let out a terrified cry. Its entire body turned into a black shadow as it fled into the depths of the forest. The remaining few moat demons didn't hesitate at all as they fled into the distance in fear. Darkness restrained light, and light similarly restrained darkness. A powerful radiant priest could easily restrain them. At the back, the old woman and the rest looked on in shock. Old whose hands trembled as he looked at Wang Xian and gulped. Haha, they died just like that. 20 natural moat demons were killed by us just like that. We're rich. Too strong. We're simply too strong. The heavenly moat demons actually escaped. Li Si and the other members of the Judgment Mercenary Group shouted with excitement on their faces. They looked at the corpses on the ground with burning eyes. The corpses of the heavenly moat demons were very valuable. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group looked at the corpses one by one, but he was shocked in his heart. He knew that they were able to kill the heavenly moat demons so easily because of that young man. His strength? Looking at the power of light that was dissipating slowly, a look of respect appeared in his eyes. Come over here and thank that powerhouse. The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group shouted softly. He looked at Wang Xian and walked over slowly. The people from the Judgment Mercenary Group were slightly stunned. Following that, they looked at Wang Xian in awe. They immediately walked over. Li Si, wasn't I very powerful just now? A girl ran over. She wanted to ask why he left her there and escaped alone. However, Li Si raised his head slightly and said to the girl. His eyes were filled with the joy of surviving a calamity and the excitement of killing a powerful demonic beast. This made the girl unhappy. All of you are very powerful, but I hate all of you. Wang Xian looked at the people from the Judgment Mercenary Group. When he heard Li Siwei's voice to the girl, a faint mocking expression appeared on his face as he said coldly, "Huh." His words caused the faces of the people from the Judgment Mercenary Group to stiffen slightly. Slowly, they became embarrassed. Old Hu and the rest also looked at Wang Xian in astonishment and at this mysterious young man. "Young master, our judicial mercenary group was in the wrong just now. We were in the wrong. Please give us a chance." The leader of the judicial mercenary group hurriedly took 2 steps forward and said in a low voice, "Give you a chance? Am I not thinking clearly?" Chapter 1519. 1519 passed down the idea. Give you all a chance? Am I not thinking straight? Wang Xian looked at the more than 20 people in the Judgment Mercenary Group and said slowly. His words once again stunned everyone around him. Not thinking straight. What kind of thinking was not thinking straight? Sir, what do you have to do to be able to forgive us? The leader of the Judgment Mercenary Group's expression changed slightly. He took a deep breath and spoke respectfully once again. They had experienced the terror of this young man earlier. He was sure that this young man in front of him had the strength of the insightful void stage. With such an expert, even a radiant priest would be able to destroy them. I became a radiant priest so that I wouldn't kill. Wang Xian looked at them and said slowly. His words caused the expressions of the people around him to change again. Old Hu was stunned. He looked at Wang Xian and felt a familiar feeling. This feeling was similar to the feeling he had when he cultivated the power of darkness and was invaded by the darkness in the ruins of the divine kingdom a long time ago. Then what do you want to do? Li Si asked loudly with an embarrassed expression when she heard Wang Xian's words. Purify all of you. Purify all the filth. Purify all the evil. Wang Xian slowly raised the scepter of light in his hand. A ray of light shot towards them directly. Not good. You. The ray of light shot towards everyone in the Judgment Mercenary Group, causing their faces to reveal a look of horror instantly. The great joy of surviving the calamity was enveloped by this dazzling ray of light. However, the expressions on their faces were completely frozen. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of weapons falling could be heard. It was as if they had hit the hearts of everyone around them. The old woman, 3 women, and 4 girls looked over in a daze. Especially the girl who was standing beside Li Si. She stared at Wang Xian in fear. Why did you kill them? Didn't you say no? Her eyes were filled with fear as she cried out involuntarily. Uncle Hu, purification isn't killing, right? Wang Xian smiled and said to Old Hu who was standing at the side. This made Old Hu slightly stunned. Following that, a bitter smile appeared on his face. It doesn't count. Purification is purifying all filth and evil. It's not killing. He was the one who told Wang Xian this sentence. He didn't feel anything when Wang Xian purified the Judgment Mercenary Group. Not only were these people the first to escape when they were in danger, they even wanted to use them to resist for some time. For such people, it was fine to purify them. Now, he already had some guesses in his heart as to why this mysterious young man would say those strange words to him. Slaughter, darkness, evil, purification. There's no one left, and you still say that this isn't slaughter you? When the girl heard Wang Xian's ridiculous words, her expression turned a little awkward. A person like you is really annoying. Wang Xian looked at the girl and said expressionlessly, What? You? What are you doing? Don't kill me, no. Don't. Seeing Wang Xian's expressionless face, the girl panicked. Only then did she realize what kind of person she was talking to. She was talking to a madman. A madman? Killing wasn't called killing, it was called purifying. Just now, he had said that he was disgusted and had directly purified everyone in the Judgment Mercenary Group. Now would he? When she thought of this, she was completely terrified. Her body went limp as she begged for mercy. You should go. I've saved your life, and you still don't know how to repay me. A person like you has no right to follow us. Old Hu looked at the girl and said directly. He looked at Wang Xian and didn't say anything. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head and looked at the old lady and the rest. Let's continue on our journey. All right. The old lady nodded her head quickly and looked at Old Hu. Old Hu nodded his head at her. Let's go, young man. Let's get in the car and let them drive us for a while. We will be there in a few hours. Old Hu patted Wang Xian on the shoulder, and the two of them walked over. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before nodding his head with a smile. The old lady heaved a sigh of relief when she saw them enter. This, a simple mission, actually attracted such a terrifying young man. However, it's fortunate that we have this young man. Otherwise, we would have been dead already. A woman exclaimed. From the beginning, they felt that this young man had a gentle expression and a good temper. They had thought that this young man might be weak. But in the blink of an eye, he had annihilated the entire Judgment mercenary group. No, he had cleansed them. The word cleansed was indeed quite suitable to be used just now. The Judgment mercenary group was just a bunch of trash. Let's go. That young man saved our lives. We must know how to be grateful. The old woman's eyes flickered as she nodded. As she spoke slowly, she went to the carriage and personally drove it. Her gaze swept past the girl who was still in shock and left immediately. As for her life and death, it would depend on herself. That was because others had already saved you once. Young man, were you invaded by the soul of darkness? In the carriage, Old Hu looked at Wang Xian curiously and asked, Soul of darkness? Wang Xian was slightly taken aback as he looked at Old Hu in astonishment. He had a very good impression of Old Hu. Although there was a huge age difference between the two of them, they were always able to chat together. Moreover, it was also because of Old Hu that he was able to release a few shackles. Aren't you? The soul of darkness is a group of evil spirits in the ruins of the divine kingdom. They are formed from the darkness attribute, giving birth to spiritual intelligence. They are violent and brutal. Once they are invaded by the soul of darkness, they will lose their rationality if they can't withstand it. In the ruins of the kingdom of God, thousands of people lose their rationality and die every year after being invaded by the soul of darkness. You look very similar to me, but you can suppress yourself a little. Lao Hu continued to speak to Wang Xian. Soul of darkness? Then my situation is similar to this. If I am under intense stimulation or if I kill too many people, I will lose my rationality too. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before nodding his head. It is very difficult to be invaded by the soul of darkness. I can only rely on myself to maintain my mind. If I am strong enough, I might be able to get rid of it. Young man, in your current state, you are already very good. It is not bad to be a priest of light. Do you still plan to follow us to the Holy Medicine Clinic? Old Hu asked Wang Xian. Yes, of course. I'm basically not losing my mind now. I'm looking for a complete solution. Wang Xian said ambiguously. Although his current condition was different from the soul of darkness that Old Hu mentioned, it was somewhat similar. Going to the clinic would allow him to have a better understanding of the darkness attribute and the light attribute. Chapter 1520 1520 Priest Wang from the Holy Medicine Shop. Young man, if you go to the Holy Medicine Shop, with your strong light power, you can definitely become an important priest of light in our Holy Medicine Shop. When the time comes, I will tell the owner about your matter. I will be by your side to help you in the future. Although I am not strong, I have experienced the ups and downs of life and know a lot of things. Young man, if you have anything, just ask me. Maybe I can give you some advice. Old Hu was a very open-minded person. Even though Wang Xian was very strong, his attitude did not change. This made Wang Xian very comfortable. Coming to this unfamiliar place, he could also learn a lot from Old Hu. I'll go tell Tang Mei about you. You stay here now. Old Hu patted his shoulder and walked out with a smile. Wang Xian sat in the car and looked at the location of his heart. About 80% of his heart was pitch black, while the remaining 20% was bright. I still need to have a deeper understanding of the light. I need to master and use more of the power of light. Wang Xian thought to himself. When he became a demonic dragon, his understanding of the darkness had reached a terrifying level. At this moment, only by improving his understanding and utilization of light could he achieve a balance. Young man, we have arrived at the ruins of the kingdom of God. Do you want to come out and take a look? Not long after, Old Hu's voice came from outside. All right. Wang Xian nodded immediately and went outside. He looked around. This is... When Wang Xian walked out and looked ahead, he revealed a look of shock. It was a huge empty space with the ground paved with pitch-black stone slabs. An aura of desolation rushed over. He looked around and saw various buildings. It was similar to the cemetery of the human and demon. There were no cities here, and they were all built separately. What shocked him was a huge black building dozens of kilometers away. The building looked like an altar. There was a huge body on it. The body was made of black stone, and it looked like it was looking down at the entire world. That person was once the owner of the Divine Kingdom ruins. Later generations called him Demigod Hyaming. Demigod Hyaming was a terrifying mighty figure in the ancient times. He controlled the entire Divine Kingdom forest, and his strength was heaven and earth. Legend had it that at that time, he wasn't even afraid of the dragon race. However, Demigod Dark Abyss had died on his way to becoming a god. He had left behind this god country ruins, a huge space. Their location was similar to the area in front of the palace. This area was 500 kilometers long. Within these 500 kilometers, it had become a place where vast areas gathered. The 3 superpowers and 8 first-rate forces had all gathered here. All of them were here to obtain the God Country Ruins treasures. Back then, Demigod Haiming had collected a terrifying amount of resources in order to break through to become a god. These resources could easily be used to build a dynasty. Some even said that if one could obtain all the treasures in the God Country Ruins, they could build an empire. Over the past tens of thousands of years, countless experts had come to this place. There was even an Empire's longevity realm expert who wanted to enter, but he never came out. However, even at the borders, there were terrifying resources. Every day, millions of people would enter the God Country Ruins. Unfortunately, tens of thousands of years had passed, and 20% of the veil of the God Country Ruins had not been lifted. Because Demigod Dark Abyss was of the darkness attribute, the entire God Country Ruins were filled with darkness creatures. There were even strange creatures like the Dark Soul. Some people said that it was formed from the remnant thoughts of the Dark Abyss demigod after he died. Because of the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, the Light Priest profession was born. There were many people around, and it was like a huge, chaotic city. The deeper they went, the more luxurious it became, and the more orderly the plan became. The entire space seemed to be prohibited from flying. Everyone had to walk on the ground. Among the people who passed by, Wang Xian did not see anyone below level 5 or level 7 or 8 of transcendence. It was very common here. It gathered the powerful forces and elites of the entire vast region. One could imagine how many strong people there were. After driving for 3 hours, the carriage slowly stopped in front of a shop. The hiring association was located a few thousand meters away from the shop. This was considered a central location. This was a shop with a height of 10 stories. The words, Holy Medicine Clinic, were written on it. At the entrance, there were 2 beautiful women dressed in pure white clothes waiting for them. The entire clinic occupied an area of about 1,000 meters. Young Master Wang, this is our Holy Medicine Clinic. If you really want to become a priest of light, I'll bring you upstairs to meet our master. The old lady walked over and said to Wang Xian respectfully, if nothing goes wrong, I will stay in the Holy Medicine Clinic for a period of time. Wang Xian nodded his head. All right, follow me. The old lady nodded her head and brought him inside immediately. Wang Xian, Lao Hu, and the rest followed behind. As for the few girls behind, they obviously didn't have the same treatment as Wang Xian. Chief Tang, the 3 of them walked in. The 2 beauties at the door immediately greeted him respectfully. There are 6 radiant priests at the Insightful Void level in our Holy Medicine Clinic. Each radiant priest at the Insightful Void level occupies a floor to treat the guests at the insightful void level. I am one of the main managers below the insightful void level. The main income of our clinic comes from this clinic, the old lady said to Wang Xian as she led him up the stairs. As soon as they entered the medical center, a strong light energy was transmitted over. The gentle energy made people feel refreshed as if they were bathed in spring. There were injured people entering the rooms one by one. There are a large number of dark creatures in the ruins of the Kingdom of God and the forest of the Kingdom of God. They are all extremely strange and have different treatment methods for all kinds of injuries. Our holy medicine clinic is located in the ruins of the Kingdom of God. It can be considered to be a little famous. There are only 5 more famous than us. The old lady introduced to Wang Xian and walked up the stairs. The higher they went, the fewer patients there were. They went all the way to the top floor. The top floor had an area of 1,000 meters and was extremely luxurious. I can't do anything about it. Captain Yungu's bone corrosion poison is too deep. I can't deal with it. Captain Yungu can go to the Holy Light Clinic to seek the treatment of a stronger radiant priest. They had just reached the top floor when they saw an old man dressed in white with a scepter in his hand, speaking to a middle-aged man. Behind the middle-aged man were 5 or 6 middle-aged men who were emitting a bloody aura. Sigh, my abdomen has been hit by the bone corrosion demonic flower's dark energy. If I don't deal with it, my strength will be affected by 50%. Since Priest Tang can't deal with it, I can only go to another medical hall to take a look. The middle-aged man was shirtless. He shook his head helplessly and put on his clothes. Bone-eroding demonic flower, bone-eroding poison. Wang Xian followed behind him. His eyes were sparkling as he looked at the middle-aged man's abdomen. Chapter 1521 1521 Holy Medicine Clinic's Priest Wang. Hall Master, this young Master Wang wants to join our clinic. Young Master Wang is very strong. On the top floor of the Holy Medicine Clinic, the old lady saw that leader Yungu and the rest were about to leave. When she saw the Hall Master looking over, she immediately asked, "Are there any rookies who are pretty strong?" Before the Hall Master could reply, a young man walked out from the room. He held some light spiritual herbs in his hands and said, "Master, I am in need of an assistant. If you are pretty strong, follow me." As the young man spoke, he looked at the old woman, old Hu, Wang Xian, and the rest. Huh. The old woman was slightly stunned when she heard the young man's words. She looked at him in astonishment. All right, Chief Tang, it's the young man behind you, right? Leave him to Tianguang. The hall master nodded and instructed the old woman. Wang Xian did not look at the young man, nor the hall master of the Holy Medicine Hall. His gaze was still fixed on Captain Yungu and the rest who came to their side. Captain Yungu frowned slightly when he saw Wang Xian staring at his abdomen. However, he didn't say anything. Since the other party was from the Holy Medicine Clinic, he had to give him some face. I can remove the bone corrosion poison from this gentleman. Do you need me to help you remove it? At this moment, Wang Xian looked at Captain Yungu and the rest who were about to head downstairs and asked directly. Huh. They were about to leave when they heard Wang Xian's voice. They were stunned. Captain Yungu frowned and looked at Wang Xian with a hint of doubt in his eyes. The head and the young man beside him were also stunned. Hey, what nonsense are you spouting? Even my master couldn't solve the bone corrosion poison. If you can solve it, don't you understand the rules of the Radiant Priest? If you're not confident, don't treat people. Otherwise, you'll harm others and yourself. How dare you speak so arrogantly at such a young age? Humph. The young man immediately frowned and shouted at Wang Xian. Young man, you're still a newborn calf, aren't you? Captain Yungu squeezed out a smile and said faintly, Head, young Master Wang is very, very strong. I'll send you a message. I don't know if you've received it yet. However, at this moment, the old lady looked at Wang Xian. After hesitating for a moment, she spoke to the hall master again. Oh. The hall master revealed a look of surprise. The old lady had emphasized that she was very strong twice in a row. At the very least, she was stronger than her. He knew the old lady's strength very well. She was at the half-step void interpretation stage. She was not strong, but she was not weak either. To be able to make her emphasize that she was very strong. Then, he sized up Wang Xian with a face full of astonishment. When Captain Yuan-gu heard the old lady's words, he was also slightly stunned. He looked at Wang Xian, who had an indifferent expression, and asked with uncertainty, Can you really cure the bone corrosion poison in my body? Once the bone corrosion poison enters my stomach, it will be difficult for me to swallow the food. My strength will be weakened by at least 5 layers. The 5 internal organs of humans cannot be treated casually with the light attribute. Unless there is a 100% guarantee, it will cause side effects. Wang Xian said directly to Leader Yuan-gu. You are really confident? When Leader Yuan-gu heard Wang Xian's words, he revealed a look of surprise on his face. He quickly took 2 steps forward. Young man, how did you know? The leader was also slightly shocked. He only found out about it after checking his light attributes. This young man obviously did not know about it beforehand. However, he knew the result with just a glance. In this aspect, he was more powerful than him. 100%. Leader Yuan-gu is not very strong. I can clear the dark energy in my stomach. Wang Xian said confidently. He looked at the head of the hall and said, Hello, head of the hall. I sensed it. The head of the hall was astonished. This young man was too arrogant. He directly said that Leader Yuan-gu was not very strong. After all, Leader Yuan-gu was at the 2nd level of the see-through realm. How could he not be strong? Even the people around the leader of Cloud Valley looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Level 2 of the see-through realm was considered strong no matter where he was placed. Really? Young master, are you really 100% confident? Then, please help me get rid of him. I will definitely reward you handsomely. When the leader of Cloud Valley heard Wang Xian's tone, he believed his words even more. He said quickly with some anticipation, Sure, take off your clothes. Don't resist. Wang Xian nodded his head. Captain Yuan-gu took off his shirt without hesitation. The people beside him looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Wang Xian moved his arm, and an illusory palm of light appeared in front of him. The Hand of Divine Light. It's actually the Hand of Divine Light. When the Hand of Divine Light appeared in front of Wang Xian, the young man at the side revealed a shocked expression. The Hand of Divine Light. One could tell Wang Xian's strength the moment he made his move. A Void Interpretation Expert. A young priest of the light of Void Interpretation. This made the young man's expression a little awkward. Just now, he was thinking of asking the other party to be his assistant. This was a slap in the face. What a dazzling Hand of Divine Light. What a strong control. The head of the hall looked at the Hand of Divine Light and said with a face full of shock, Don't resist. As Wang Xian spoke, the Hand of Divine Light waved and directly cut a hole in his stomach. The Hand of Divine Light directly opened up the flesh and blood on both sides. You be careful. Captain Yuan-gu's family members at the side saw this scene and said nervously, I'm fine. I didn't feel any pain at all. This young master's healing of light is really amazing. Captain Yuan-gu waved his hand and looked at Wang Xian with a twinkle in his eyes. Wang Xian didn't answer him. Instead, he looked at his stomach. A third of his stomach was completely black. A special dark energy was attached to it. The one that injured me was a bone-eroding demonic flower of the 3rd level of the see-through realm. Fortunately, I dodged it quickly. Otherwise, I would have lost my life. Captain Yuan-gu looked down at his stomach and said with a frown, The bone corrosion poison has already fused with my stomach. Light restrains darkness. The power of darkness is extremely pure and contains poison. Even if I am strong enough, the moment I cast light and remove the bone corrosion poison, my stomach would also be severely injured. By then, it would be even more difficult for me to recover from the injuries here. The pavilion master looked at Wang Xian and reminded him, It's difficult to fuse attributes. Leader Yuan-gu cultivates metal attributes. Even under special circumstances, it will take a long time to fuse them. Even if Leader Yuan-gu cultivates darkness attributes, The power of darkness of the bone-eroding demonic flower is purer than that of leader Yungu. Furthermore, there is a poison attached to it. Therefore, they are not fused as one. As Wang Xian spoke, he touched his stomach with the hand of divine light. The light rain, strong healing, and other light powers seeped into his stomach directly. Since the two did not fuse together, it was fine as long as they were aimed at a single thing and entered the bone corrosion poison. An ordinary radiant priest would not be able to sense a single thing that entered the bone corrosion poison, but Wang Xian could. Compared to light, he was better at darkness. When darkness entered his stomach, he could accurately sense every place where the power of darkness was located. Therefore, he could control the power of light and accurately remove every power of darkness without hurting his flesh and blood. Chapter 1522. 1522 1522 sounds traveled for 1,000 miles. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A special sound came from the stomach of the leader of Cloud Valley. Wang Xian controlled the hand of divine light to remove the bone corrosion poison with a calm expression. Leader of Cloud Valley, did you feel the increase in pain in your stomach? When the head of the pavilion saw this scene, he quickly asked the leader of Cloud Valley. No, the pain has actually lessened a lot. Young master, is the bone corrosion poison being removed? The leader of the Cloud Valley revealed an excited expression and quickly asked Wang Xian. Don't move recklessly. It will be over soon. Wang Xian said faintly and didn't answer him. He looked a little cold and arrogant in the eyes of the people around him. However, his cold expression showed respect in the eyes of the people around him. What a terrifying control. He didn't use the powerful light energy to remove the poison in an instant. Instead, he used this precise control and used the power of light to envelop every bit of the power of darkness. Impressive. The hall master at the side stared at Wang Xian in astonishment. When he saw the bone corrosion poison in the stomach of Captain Yungu being slowly removed, a look of astonishment appeared on his face. An ordinary radiant priest would use the power of light directly to forcefully remove the poison in the other party's body. Once they encountered a slightly troublesome injury that involved the internal parts of the body and the vital parts of the head, they would be helpless. This required an even more powerful radiant priest to control the power of light to heal them bit by bit. This required a strong control over the power of light. The first type was very simple, but the second type was extremely difficult. In terms of control, he felt that he was inferior to this young man in front of him. Strong healing. The bone corrosion poison was slowly removed. Wang Xian waved his arm and released a divine ability. The area of his stomach that had been corroded by the dark power recovered little by little. The hand of divine light landed on the spot where the wound had been cut open. The wound healed quickly and did not leave any scars. All right, it's really healed. Haha, thank you, young master, thank you, young master. A happy voice came from Commander Yungu's mouth. He felt his body and his face was full of excitement. This bone corrosion poison entered his 5 internal organs. It was a deadly thing. Once it was too long, it would be completely finished. At that time, he would not be able to use 50% of his strength, and his strength would be greatly reduced. Thank you, young master. Young master, your art of light is really amazing. You were able to treat an injury that even Hall Master Tang couldn't treat. You're really a young hero. That's right. You're too amazing. To possess such a powerful power of light at such a young age, you're really amazing among all the radiant priests. The few people beside leader Yungu spoke to Wang Xian with flattering expressions. The young man who was standing at the side looked at this young man in shock. His master didn't manage to heal his injuries, but he actually managed to heal them. Could it be that he was even stronger than his master? This made him a little dazed. There's no need. The fees will be charged according to the standards of the Holy Medicine Clinic. Wang Xian shook his head. As he spoke, he looked at the owner of the clinic. Young brother, you were the one who treated leader Yunji's injuries. All the fees will be given to you. Head Tang gestured to leader Yungu. All right, All right. Young Master Wang, this is the fee. Please accept it. The old man beside leader Yungu quickly handed over an interspatial ring. All right, I'll accept it then. Wang Xian nodded and accepted it without any hesitation. We have something to attend to first. If there are any friends who need treatment in the future, I'll definitely introduce them to this place. Leader Yungu exchanged a few pleasantries before turning around and leaving. Leader, this is the young master that I told you about not long ago. Did you not see him? Take a look at the communication stone plate now. The old lady said to Leader Yungu immediately after the patient left. There were some things that Wang Xian couldn't say directly since he was present. Huh. The hall master was slightly stunned. He nodded when he saw Chief Tang's expression. He smiled at Wang Xian and said, I was treating Captain Yungu's illness just now, but I didn't see any news. As the hall master spoke, he took out the communication stone plate and took a look. His pupils constricted slightly as he kept it slowly. His eyes flickered. Young master, are you sure you want to join our holy medicine clinic? With your abilities, you can totally open your own clinic. After hesitating for a moment, the hall master asked Wang Xian, I'm sure. I might be staying in the clinic for a few months. Wang Xian nodded his head. All right then, we will vacate the 4th floor of the clinic for you. According to the rules of the clinic, those above the void interpretation stage will be given 20% of the income to the clinic. However, little brother, you are very strong. You only need to give 10% of the income to the medical center. The head of the medical center said to Wang Xian. He nodded his head at the side. Head, leave the matter of this young man to me. I will be his assistant on the 4th floor in the future. Lao Hu said with a smile at the side. Sure. Lao Hu, make arrangements for this little brother. Sometimes, little brother can come and look for me. The hall master said with a smile. All right, thank you, hall master. Wang Xian nodded his head and followed Lao Hu down the stairs. Master, why? Why did you give him such good conditions? The young man at the side asked in surprise when he saw Wang Xian and the rest leaving. This young man is very young, but he is very strong. It will be very beneficial for us if he stays in our clinic. It will be very good for our reputation. The owner of the medical center smiled. It was not easy to recruit a powerful radiant priest. A radiant priest who was above the dimension-sundering realm was a cash cow in the ruins of the divine kingdom. Forget about entering their holy medicine medical center. Even entering the divine light medical center was an easy task. Young man, come here. This 4th level used to be a place where a radiant priest of the dimension-sundering realm would treat patients. However, that radiant priest has already left. I will get someone to clean it up. Old Hu brought Wang Xian to the clinic on the 4th level. The area of more than 1,000 square meters could be said to be very huge. On the 4th level, the place where patients were treated was only about 200 square meters. The rest of the places were for resting. The entire room was very luxurious. Old Hu called a few girls over to tidy up. Those girls looked at Wang Xian curiously. From time to time, they would look over and whisper to each other. Wang Xian scanned his surroundings and came to the balcony. From the balcony, he could see passers-by coming and going outside. He was very satisfied with the environment here. Young man, what time do you plan to receive the guests every day? Do you have any requests? For example, what kind of patients you can't treat and why you won't receive them? Lao Hu said to Wang Xian, the identity of a radiant priest at the insightful void level is very honorable. You can treat the patients at a fixed time. Chapter 1523. 1523 1523 voices spread across thousands of miles too. Wang Xian came to be a priest of light, mainly to seek the balance between light and darkness. To improve the tempering and control of the power of light, he needed to constantly use the power of light. Treating patients could greatly improve his control of the power of light, especially when the patients were all invaded by darkness. Speaking of which, he was considered a patient. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the day, I will accept any patients. I will not accept any clients during the rest of the time. Wang Xian thought for a moment, and spoke to Old Hu. All right, I will inform the staff below who will receive the patients of the rules. Old Hu nodded. Have a seat. Old Hu, do you want some tea? Wang Xian sat on the balcony and took out a pot of tea. He warmed it up and made himself a cup. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. I'd better drink. Lao Hu took out the wine pot and shook his head. He smiled as he looked at the stream of people on the road. There were humans and demonic beasts. Wang Xian looked at them and took out the sculptures one by one. Wow, are these sculptures made by you, young man? They're really beautiful. Are these beauties your lovers? Old Hu asked with a smile as he watched Wang Xian take out the sculptures and place them around him. Wang Xian also smiled as he looked at the sculptures of Guan Shuqing and the other girls. None of them were made by Lingjian. He didn't touch anything related to Lingjian until he had completely blended the light and darkness together. The fourth floor was quickly tidied up. Wang Xian looked at the room he was staying in and was very satisfied. When he closed the door, it was extremely quiet. In the Holy Medicine Clinic, the news of a young priest at the insightful void level in their clinic was quickly transmitted to every staff member. This made many priests in the clinic very excited. In the clinic, 90% of them were female priests. Some of them were not too old. When they learned that there was a young radiant priest at the insightful void level, all the girls were extremely tempted. A person at the insightful void level could live a life of supremacy wherever he was placed. To be able to marry an insightful void level powerhouse, he was basically marrying into a wealthy family. It was very dark in the ruins of the kingdom of God. It was so dark that there was no moonlight in the sky. Looking into the distance, it looked like an abyss. The clinic was open 24 hours a day. However, Wang Xian would directly rest at night. I heard that when we were resting yesterday, a priest of light at the insightful emptiness realm came to the fourth floor. He was very young and a handsome man. Wow, really? A young priest of insightful emptiness realm? How handsome is he? I don't know. I hope that when we are receiving patients today, we will have the chance to visit the fourth floor. Two girls who were receiving patients at the door were chatting in a low voice. Hurry up, hurry up. Let's go to the clinic. The priest can definitely cure your arms. Absolutely. While the two girls were talking, three figures walked over in a hurry. One was a woman, one was a girl, and the other was a middle-aged man. At this moment, the middle-aged man's hands were hanging down. A faint black aura pervaded the air, and there was also a rotten smell. The woman and the girl's faces were filled with anxiety as they supported the bitter middle-aged man. The three of you, do you want to see a doctor? A female receptionist asked them. Yes, we want to see the radiant priest. We want to get rid of the black water poison. The woman's face was filled with anxiety as she asked, Is it serious? Follow me. I'll bring you to see the priest. The girl immediately said, Fuck. This time it's really bad luck. My arm was directly crippled. At least I need to find the priest of light at the void interpretation level to heal it. At this moment, 4 or 5 big men walked over. One of them directly said to a girl who was receiving them, The priest of the void interpretation level? The girl who was receiving them looked at the 4 or 5 big men. Her eyes flickered slightly, and she immediately said, Okay, I'll bring you there. Oh, the smell of decay. It stinks. At this moment, a burly man suddenly sniffed the surroundings and looked at the middle-aged man and the 2 women. Black water poison? The entire arm was actually corroded. This is considered crippled. It can either be directly cut off and used as a medicinal pill to nourish and grow, or it can cause a powerful radiant priest to regrow the severed arm. A burly man said indifferently, following closely behind him. Regrow the severed arm? When the woman and girl heard these words, their faces slightly paled. The radiant priest's treatment was not cheap. In order to regrow the severed arm quickly, based on the injured person's strength, they needed to buy at least half-step void interpretation level medicinal pills. This was not something that 1 or 2 medicinal pills could solve. The stronger one was, the higher the level of the pills needed to regenerate the severed arm. The cost was very high. As for the radiant priest's severed arm, the price was about the same as this. This was something that needed at least a void interpretation level 2 priest to perform. Another type was using ordinary pills and cultivation to slowly recover. It could also regenerate the severed arm. However, this required at least a few years of time. From the looks of the three of them, they weren't rich. The middle-aged man's strength was only at transcendent level 7. "I'll bring you guys to take a look first," the female receptionist said to them. All right. The few of them nodded with sweat all over their faces. "I'll bring them to the 4th floor." The other female receptionist winked at the receptionist and led the few burly men to the 4th floor. "Let's go." The receptionist behind puffed her lips and said to the 3 people beside her. Then, she led them inside as well. "Pastor Wang, a patient is here." On the 4th floor, Wang Xian was sitting on the balcony drinking tea while looking at the bright sunlight. Lao Hu's voice came from outside. "He's here." With a patient here, Lao Hu couldn't call Wang Xian a young man. A man? And such a young priest? For the 5 burly men were astonished when they saw Wang Xian walking over from the balcony. The bones in his arm were crushed, right? "Uncle Hu, how much is the fee according to the Holy Medicine Clinic?" Wang Xian glanced at the burly man in the middle, looked at old Hu, and asked. "I showed him for a while just now. He recovered completely. If he doesn't need to take any elixirs, 800,000 upper-grade spirit stones." Old Hu said directly. 800,000 high-grade spirit stones was not a small amount. In the kingdom ruins, most people used high-grade spirit stones. One high-grade spirit stone was equivalent to 100 middle-grade spirit stones. 800,000 high-grade spirit stones. Before the burly men could speak, a surprised voice came from behind them. "Oh, why are you all shouting?" The few burly men looked behind them and realized that they were the 3 people they met at the door. They frowned and shouted, "Be quiet. If you want to treat them, treat them. If not, leave." Wang Xian said to them calmly, "Treat them. We have 800,000 upper-grade spirit stones." One of the burly men said directly. "Okay." Wang Xian nodded his head and waved his arm. Rays of light landed on the arms of the burly man. Chapter 1524. 1524 1524 voices spread far and wide. "It's done. It's completely done. That bastard Zhang Han, he actually used such a heavy hand when sparring with me. Let's go. This time I want to go back and take revenge." Rays of light fell on the big man's arm, and in less than a minute, his arm had completely recovered. He moved his arm, and a smile appeared on his face as he cursed. "Awesome. So handsome." The 2 girls who received him at the back looked at each other and whispered to each other. "Thank you, Master Priest. You have reached the insightful emptiness realm at such a young age. You are truly the pride of the heavens." A few burly men cupped their hands at Wang Xian and handed over the spiritual stones to Lao Hu before leaving. No. 800,000 high-grade spiritual stones is too expensive. Let's go. No, we have enough money. We have enough money to sell the place where we live. It's enough. Treat it. We'll treat it. Father, hurry up and treat it. The black water poison will enter the body through the blood circulation if we don't treat it for a long time. We have to treat it. It's fine. Just cut off your arm. Your arm is broken? How are we going to live in the future? The sounds of debate rang out. Wang Xian sat inside and looked at the 3 people standing outside. When he saw the middle-aged man's last words, the middle-aged man sighed helplessly. If the black water poison is serious, it might cost at least 1.5 million upper-grade spirit stones. At this moment, old Hu, who was standing at the side, looked at the middle-aged man's rotten arm and said faintly. He had seen too many of such things in the medical center. There were many people who didn't have any spirit stones to treat them. Some even died because of it. However, the medical center wasn't a charitable place. Without spirit stones, which priest of light would be willing to expend energy to treat you? What? 5 million upper-grade spirit stones? No, no. When the three of them heard Old Hu's words, their bodies couldn't help but tremble. They felt as though their bodies had collapsed. How much do you have in your hands now? Wang Xian sat there and asked them calmly. We only have 100,000 upper-grade spirit stones. If we were to sell some of the things in the house, we can only gather 800,000 at most. The woman lowered her head and said in despair, Give me half of the spirit stones in your hands. As Wang Xian spoke, he waved his arm gently. Puchi. Before the middle-aged man could react, both of his arms were cut off by Wang Xian. Following that, he felt a ray of light enveloping his body. Under his disbelief, both of his arms grew out slowly. Old Hu, who was at the side, was stunned. Even the female receptionist behind him was stunned. Leave half of the spiritual stones behind. Let's go. Wang Xian waved his arm, and the two arms that were completely corroded by the black water poison flew in front of him. He sized them up silently. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, priest. Thank you. The woman, and the middle-aged man were completely stunned. When they saw that the arms had completely grown out, they were excited. The three of them quickly knelt on the ground and thanked him loudly. Wang Xian smiled and didn't say anything. Old Hu's eyes flickered as he looked at the three of them. All right, Reverend Wang, you guys look pitiful. Give me 50,000 high-grade spirit stones. Let's go. Thank you, Reverend Wang. Here, we'll give all the spirit stones to you, Reverend Wang. Only 50,000. Leave immediately and don't disturb us. Old Hu said coldly. Yes. Thank you. The three of them said gratefully. With bloodshot eyes, they stood up and bowed. They left in tears of joy. He is so caring. Not only is he strong and handsome, he is also so caring. He is just like Prince Charming. The receptionist girl who brought the three of them looked at Wang Xian, who was sitting there, and her eyes lit up. Wang Xian did not look outside. Instead, he stared quietly at the arm that was corroded by the dark energy in front of him. Wang Xian was not bothered by the fact that he was treating them for free. He was not in need of spirit stones. He did not care about 100 million, or even 1 billion upper-grade spirit stones. After destroying the ancient demon city, the amount of resources, treasures, and spirit stones in his interspatial ring was a terrifying number. The most important thing for him now was the balance between light and darkness. Buzz. Wang Xian waved his arm and the light energy landed on it, emitting a melting sound. That middle-aged man is a cultivator of the light attribute. He was eroded by the darkness and 99% of his entire arm has been crippled. However, there are still a few interesting aspects. Wang Xian observed. He realized that under the condition of equal light and darkness, the darkness could not extinguish the light, and neither could the light extinguish the darkness. Under such a stalemate, it would form a rotation. It was just like Tai Chi. The 5 elements can be fused together due to the fact that they are mutually compatible. However, in essence, the 5 elements are also mutually exclusive. Light and darkness are not mutually exclusive and can only be mutually exclusive. It is not that they cannot be merged. It is just like Tai Chi. Wang Xian mumbled. He waved his arm and rays of light landed on his arms. He wanted to try to use the power of light to completely restore his 2 arms. Pastor Wang, there are more patients. In the afternoon, Wang Xian received 2 more patients and healed them very quickly. He spent the rest of his time studying the 2 arms. In the evening, the news of Wang Xian's selfless treatment of a middle-aged man spread in the clinic. The girls chatted excitedly. However, Wang Xian stayed on the 4th floor and didn't go out. Many people didn't see his real face. This made many girls look regretful. They wondered if they should go up and take a look. However, they didn't dare to. For 2 consecutive days, Wang Xian received a total of more than 10 patients. Some of them had the dark energy of powerful demonic beasts in their bodies. Some of them needed to regrow their severed limbs. In short, these were all questions that Wang Xian thought were very simple. Pastor Wang, This is the brocade banner that the middle-aged man that you treated sent over on the first day. They said that we cannot repay your kindness and can only send a small brocade banner. On this afternoon, Old Hu walked over with a banner in his hand and said with a smile on his face, "Uncle Hu, help me put it there." Wang Xian looked at the banner and said with a smile, You actually completely recovered that rotten arm." At this moment, Old Hu looked in front of Wang Xian with a shocked expression. On the other side, the rotten arm that he had cut off from the middle-aged man looked just like an ordinary arm today. It was still emitting a faint vitality. This was simply unbelievable. Wang Xian looked at the arm in front of him and sensed the location of his heart. After a few days of understanding and tempering of light, the light in the heart of light and darkness had reached about 25%. It wouldn't take long for him to achieve a balance between light and darkness. Chapter 1525. 1525 1525 calls spread across thousands of miles. Uncle Hu. In the room of the Holy Medicine Clinic, Wang Xian looked at the heart in front of him and asked, "How can we receive more patients who have been corroded by the darkness?" More patients? Old Hu looked at Wang Xian and said, "It's very simple to receive more patients who have been corroded by the darkness. Free treatment? But if you treat them for free, wouldn't that be too?" As he spoke, he looked at Wang Xian. Treating anyone for free. With his ability, almost all the patients within a few thousand miles would rush over. No one would treat all the patients for free so mercifully. Moreover, doing so would offend other medical centers. What if I want to treat those who don't have the money to do so for free? Wang Xian looked at the banner that the family of 3 had sent over and said with a smile, Treat people who don't have the money to do so for free? That's possible. There are many people who have done such things in the past. I can look for the owner and ask him to release this news. However, there might be some people who will pretend that they don't have the money. Old Hu said to Wang Xian, "I can determine if they have the ability to pay. Uncle Hu, please announce the news to the public." Wang Xian said with a twinkle in his eyes. "All right. After a night of publicity, there will be many patients coming over for treatment tomorrow. You have to make some preparations." Old Hu nodded at Wang Xian. He nodded. Treating people who were invaded by darkness was also treating oneself. Using light to cure darkness could bring forward the balance of the heart of light and darkness. After Old Hu left, he informed the owner of the news of treating the poor for free. The owner was very surprised by Wang Xian's action. However, he hesitated for a moment before nodding his head. The free treatment was carried out in the Holy Medicine Clinic. It was a great boost to the reputation of the Holy Medicine Clinic. That night, the news that the Holy Medicine Clinic had a light priest at the insightful emptiness realm to treat all those who could not afford the treatment was spread out. This news immediately attracted the attention of countless people. Around the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, there were at least hundreds of millions of people who relied on the ruins of the Divine Kingdom to survive. Although most of them were strong, most of them were below the insightful emptiness realm. Many people had entered the ruins of the Divine Kingdom and the forest of the Divine Kingdom. They suffered from the erosion of the darkness and left some hidden injuries in their bodies. Not everyone had the money to cure themselves and find a radiant priest. The number of people who died from the erosion of the darkness every year was no less than 1 million. Now that the Holy Medicine Shop had a radiant priest at the insightful void level to treat them for free, it was a very big deal for many people. When it was just nighttime, there was already a queue of people coming to the entrance of the Holy Medicine Hall. This time, the free treatment is given by our Holy Medicine Hall's Reverend Wang. Reverend Wang treats people from 8 to 5 in the morning every day. It's useless for you to wait now. At night, the 2 female receptionists of the Holy Medicine Hall shouted at the people lining up at the entrance. "It's all right, ladies. We'll wait here until tomorrow, Reverend Wang." "That's right. There are already so many people here. There will be even more tomorrow. We don't know how many people Reverend Wang can treat in a day or how many days he can last. We don't have any spirit stones to treat them, so it's fine even if we wait now. I wonder who this Reverend Wang is." Why haven't I heard of him before? He's really a good person. That's right, that's right. This leg of mine was bitten by a dark demon beast 2 years ago. At that time, I didn't have any spirit stones to heal it, so I missed the best time to heal it. As a result, if you want to heal it again, you'll have to find a master at the insightful emptiness realm to do it. But a master at the insightful emptiness realm, how could I have so much money? In front of the entrance of the Holy Medicine Clinic, a group of people were discussing in front. Pastor Wang is so kind-hearted. I heard from afar that he is very handsome. I wonder if I can meet him during the day when I am working. I will apply for a day job in a few days. I want to go and see Pastor Wang. The two beautiful female receptionists saw the discussion of the group of people in front of them and whispered to each other. Their eyes would look towards the fourth floor from time to time. There are quite a number of people. The next morning, when Wang Xian woke up and came to the balcony, he saw a few hundred people lined up below. He revealed a surprised expression, and a smile slowly appeared on his face. Pastor Wang, there are already many patients gathered below. Do you want them to come up? Not long after, Old Hu walked over on time and asked Wang Xian. 10 people at once. Let them come up. Wang Xian nodded and said directly, All right. Lao Hu nodded and walked out. Soon, a girl who looked very happy walked in with 10 people. Reverend Wang, the people are here. The girl said sweetly and looked at Wang Xian with her watery eyes. Everyone, come in. Wang Xian nodded his head and swept his gaze across the 10 healers. He could tell that they were not in a good condition. Reverend Wang, thank you for treating us for free. The group of people were slightly surprised when they saw how young Wang Xian was. However, they quickly bowed. There's no need. Wang Xian looked at them and started to examine their bodies with his dragon eyes. The 3 of you, take a step forward first. Wang Xian pointed at the 2 middle-aged elders and said, Yes, yes. The 3 of them took 2 steps forward nervously. Your injuries are not serious. As he spoke, he waved his arm and a beam of light energy landed on their bodies. Buzz. The light covered their entire bodies. Wang Xian stared at them intently. I wasted some light energy. Wang Xian shook his head slightly when he saw this situation. Oh my God! The dark toxins in my body have been removed. It's, Reverend Wang, you have been removed with a wave of your arm. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The 3 of them immediately felt that the dark energy that had been tormenting them had been removed. They knelt down in excitement. They kowtowed to Wang Xian and thanked him. Be careful in the future. I will only treat you once for free. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly and looked at the other 6 people. The 2 of you. Wang Xian pointed at the 2 middle-aged men who had lost their arms. Yes, sir. The 2 of them walked over directly. Wang Xian also used the power of light to cover them and used the regeneration of the broken limbs. While the broken limbs were regenerating, he was carefully sensing the power of light. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The 2 of them knelt on the ground and shouted loudly in gratitude. This caused the other 5 people to be extremely excited and their bodies were trembling. The 5 of you, let's go together. Wang Xian waved his arm and the power of light enveloped them, slowly removing the power of darkness from their bodies. All right, 10 more people. Chapter 1526. 1526, 1526 sounds traveled 5,000 miles. Why did they come down so quickly? Yeah, how long has it been? 5 minutes at most. There shouldn't be any problems, right? At this moment, there were already over 1,000 people lining up at the entrance of the Holy Medicine Clinic. When they saw the first batch of 10 people who entered just now come out, the people who were lining up had astonished expressions on their faces. It had only been 5 minutes. How could they come out so quickly? No, look at those 2 people. When they came out, they had lost their arms, but now they have grown back. It's true. Judging from their excitement, they should have all been cured. Oh my God, 10 people have been cured so quickly. Suddenly, A few middle-aged men looked at the 10 people who came out and asked excitedly, "Haha, all right, all right. We are completely healed. Reverend Wong is very powerful. Reverend Wong is a good person." The 10 people who came out saw the crowd outside staring at them with eager faces. They all said excitedly, "Next, another 10 people will come." At this moment, a female receptionist in front of them raised her head slightly and shouted with a smile on her face, "Don't be anxious. Come one by one. Our Reverend Wong is very powerful." The female receptionist said proudly to everyone, "Yes, yes. Reverend Wong is very powerful. My arm has been broken for more than 10 years. Even our Reverend Wong can cure it." An old man said excitedly. After saying that, he turned around and bowed towards the Holy Medicine Clinic. "Let's go. It's our turn." The 10 people behind followed the girl excitedly and walked towards the 4th floor. "Reverend Wong, the patient is here." The girl who received him brought her people to the 4th floor and greeted Wang Xian sweetly. "Okay, let them come in directly." Wang Xian smiled at the girl. Seeing Wang Xian smiling at her, the girl who was receiving him almost fainted. She nodded immediately. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the 10 patients and checked their conditions to prevent some from pretending to be poor. Following that, rays of light energy landed on them. At this moment, the head of the hall walked over silently. He looked at Wang Xian, who was treating the patients, and looked at the patients who were recovering rapidly. His eyes revealed a hint of amazement. The young man followed behind him. He looked on with a face full of shock. He watched as groups of people came over and were quickly healed. Amazing, amazing. It's like the new wave is pushing the new wave forward. Compared to him, I'm far from him. I'm far from him. His use of light is simply unbelievable. The hall master stood there and watched for an hour. Then, he shook his head with a face full of shock and walked upstairs. "Master, is he really that powerful? I didn't see him use a Dharma idol that was too powerful." When the young man heard his master's words, a shocked expression appeared on his face. His master was a radiant priest at the 3rd level of the insightful void tier. The strength of a radiant priest lies not only in their level, but also in their control of light. Just now, every time that young Master Wang used the power of light, he was able to achieve a very precise control, which just happened to clear away the power of darkness. I can't do that. Even the head of the Divine Light Medical Center might not be able to do it. Perhaps only the old ancestor of the Divine Light Empire can do it. I wonder what kind of identity this young Master Wang has. As the head spoke, his eyes were filled with astonishment. This? The young man at the side widened his eyes. His master's evaluation of that young man was simply too high. On the 4th floor, Wang Xian quickly treated one patient after another. In the entire morning, he treated 300 to 400 people. At noon, he didn't stop and continued his treatment. Reverend Wang didn't even rest at noon. He's such a good person. He treated at least 400 to 500 people in the entire morning. This is simply too amazing. At noon, in front of the Holy Medicine Clinic, the people who came to queue for treatment were having a sentimental conversation. They had encountered this kind of free treatment by the priest of light once or twice, but the number of people who received free treatment was at most 1,000 to 2,000 people. More than 100 people were cured in one day. Unlike this priest Wang, who only cured 400 to 500 people in one morning. He didn't even rest at noon. In front of the entrance of the Holy Medicine Clinic, the number of people who came to line up after hearing the news didn't decrease. Instead, it increased by several times. There were 7,000 to 8,000 people gathered in the surrounding area. If it wasn't to prevent overcrowding, there would probably be more than 10,000 people. What's the situation up ahead? At this moment, a row of luxurious carriages drove on the road. Inside the carriage, a woman saw the crowd gathered outside through the screen window and asked curiously, "Let me take a look." There were 4 or 5 women sitting inside the carriage. They opened the curtains and looked outside. It seems that the Holy Medicine Clinic is treating some people who can't afford it for free. There are so many people lining up. There are at least 7,000 or 8,000 people. A woman looked outside and said with a smile, "Are you imitating the daughter of light, Sister Wu Qingyan?" Hee hee. A woman smiled and said to the woman in white in the middle, "What do you mean by imitating me? Qingyan, are you asking for a beating?" Wu Qingyan glared at the woman and said, "The others are far inferior to our sister Qingyan. Our sister Qingyan is a famous daughter of light." A few girls beside them said with a smile, "That's right. It's probably just a gimmick to promote their clinic." The girls chatted as the carriage drove past. The treatment continued. In the afternoon, Wang Xian did not stop. A day passed very quickly. In the whole day, Wang Xian had cured more than 1,000 people. The last 10, the rest will be treated tomorrow. Wang Xian spoke to the girl who was receiving him. Soon, 10 people were brought over. However, this time, when Wang Xian swept his gaze across the 10 of them, he raised his eyebrows slightly. This caused the 10 people who just walked in to look at Wang Xian in awe. They had queued up for an entire day. They also had an understanding of Reverend Wang's healing process. Priest Wang would not ask if there were any problems. Instead, he could easily solve them for them. This made the patients who came over exclaim in admiration. They praised Priest Wang for being very powerful. When they saw Wang Xian sizing them up, they were a little nervous. If you have the ability to seek treatment from other priests of light, scram immediately." Wang Xian pointed at a middle-aged man and said coldly. The middle-aged man who was pointed at by Wang Xian was slightly stunned. His eyes revealed a look of panic. "Sir, I really don't have the money to treat your illness. Sir, throw him out," Wang Xian said directly to Lao who was at the side. Chapter 1527. 1527. 1,527 voices traveled across thousands of miles. "Sir, I really don't have the money. I don't have the money to treat the injuries on my body." A frightened voice came from the middle-aged man's mouth as he shouted at Wang Xian loudly. "With the strength of a half-step void interpretation, can you not have a few 100,000 upper-grade spirit stones to treat the injuries on your body?" Lao, who sensed the strength of the middle-aged man and a hint of coldness appeared on his face. "No, I have all my spirit stones." "Shut up." Wang Xian looked at the middle-aged man and a hint of darkness flashed in his eyes. Someone was taking advantage of his good intentions. He was simply courting death. He waved his arm and a beam of bright energy instantly slashed towards the middle-aged man's arms. "What?" The middle-aged man was shocked and his eyes revealed a look of horror. He wanted to dodge in a hurry. "Ah!" Bang bang. However, a scream came from his mouth, followed by the sound of his arm falling to the ground. The clothes on his upper body were melted by the power of light. There was a piece of golden heart armor on his chest. The other 9 people's faces turned extremely pale when they saw this scene. This priest Wang had actually cut off both of his arms. Old who was standing at the side, was slightly stunned when he saw Wang Xian directly cut off the middle-aged man's arms. However, when he saw the heart armor on his chest, his expression turned cold. To be able to wear a heart armor of the first level of the void interpretation stage, doesn't he have hundreds of thousands of high-grade spirit stones to treat his illness? Old who walked forward, grabbed his body, and walked out. He actually dared to deceive Reverend Wang. He's really courting death. He wants to take advantage of Reverend Wang's kindness and give him free treatment. This kind of person really deserves to die. The 9 people looked at the middle-aged man who had been taken away, and their faces revealed a cold expression. Pong! At the entrance of the sacred medicine clinic, Old who directly threw the middle-aged man's body onto the ground at the entrance, attracting the astonished gazes of everyone around him. Reverend Wang only treats poor people who don't have the financial ability. If someone pretends to be him, he will cut off both of his arms. Old who warned loudly to the thousands of people who were still queuing in front of him. What? Someone actually appeared. Damn it, this damn fellow. Look at the heart armor on his chest. He's at least at the first level of the profound void tier. Damn it, He has the hard armor at the first level of the profound void tier, but he doesn't have the ability to treat patients? Instantly, everyone looked at the middle-aged man lying on the ground. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. They did not have money. Some of them had been injured for a long time and had been enduring it. However, there was actually someone who had the ability to treat patients but still wanted to take advantage of them. This caused everyone around to stare at him indignantly. If it were not for the fact that they could not make a move here, the middle-aged man on the ground would definitely have been killed. When the middle-aged man felt the murderous gazes around him, he immediately lowered his head and fled into the distance with a face full of fear. Tui, good job crippling him. Such a person should be killed. That's right. He really took Priest Wang's kindness for his own convenience. The people around him said with contempt, "Your body's condition is a little special. Stand aside first. I'll treat them." On the fourth floor, Wang Xian pointed at a young man and said, Yes, Reverend Wang, please save me and help me remove the dark soul in my body. I don't want to die yet." The young man immediately knelt on the ground with a pleading look on his face. When the other 8 people heard the young man's words, their pupils constricted slightly. They retreated to the side with a horrified look on their faces. "I will show you a private view later. Wait by the side." Wang Xian nodded his head lightly at him. He looked at the other people and rays of light immediately covered them. "Thank you, Reverend Wang. Thank you." The 8 people thanked him respectfully and walked out. Wang Xian looked at the young man who was kneeling on the ground and sized him up with his pair of dragon eyes. "Sir, I was entered by a soul of darkness. I spent all my savings but was unable to get rid of it. Please save me, sir. Please save me." The young man was kneeling on the ground and kowtowing nonstop. "Pastor Wang, once a soul of darkness enters a person's body, it will affect a person's rationality. Once it enters a person's body, it will be very difficult unless one is able to suppress it with great strength." Old Hu reminded him in a low voice. "Sir, I am using the light array to suppress it now. This is the suppression array that I bought with my last savings. Once the energy is used up, The young man immediately lifted his clothes and spoke while trembling. "I am very interested in this soul of darkness. Don't worry, I will do my best to treat you." As Wang Xian spoke, he walked towards the young man and sized up the soul of darkness in his body. "Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir." The young man thanked him respectfully. The entry of the soul of darkness into his body almost caused a heaven's favorite like him to collapse. His strength, which was at level 1 of the see-through realm, was reduced to level 8 of the extraordinary realm due to the soul of darkness. Is this the soul of darkness? Wang Xian had heard of the name of the darkness soul since he came to the ruins of the divine kingdom. Now that he had seen it with his own eyes, it was truly miraculous. As expected of the darkness soul that made countless powerhouses tremble in fear. Wang Xian stared at the young man's body. There was a ball of dark energy in his body. This dark energy was like a living creature. It exuded a brutal and sinister aura. In fact, the soul of darkness had a life form. It was a life form formed from dark energy. Wang Xian placed his arm on the young man's body. A wave of light energy attacked the dark energy. However, at this moment, the young man let out a painful scream. A layer of cold sweat appeared on his body instantly. Wang Xian could sense that this soul of darkness was able to fight against the light energy. Even if it couldn't withstand it, he could still escape to other locations. Especially to the head. The head was the most important vital part of a human. Once the power of light entered his head, the soul of darkness would be able to kill the young man if it resisted. Wang Xian let go of his hand and stared at this soul of darkness with a twinkle in his eyes. He frowned slightly. This was the most troublesome existence that Wang Xian had encountered during his treatment of over 1,000 patients this year. "It's a little tricky. I'm not sure yet. Come to my place after 5 o'clock every day. I'll think of a way to treat you." After studying for 2 hours, Wang Xian said to the young man, Yes, sir. Yes, sir." The young man was slightly disappointed, but he quickly pulled himself together. At the very least, Wang Xian had not given up on him, and he would not give up on himself. For the next 7 to 8 days, Wang Xian treated everyone for free from 8 to 5 o'clock every day. The number of people treated every day was no less than 1,000. In just a short week, the name of Priest Wang of the Holy Medicine Shop had spread across thousands of miles in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom. Every day, more than 1,000 people would rush to the entrance of the Holy Medicine Shop. Those who had been cured would look at the people around them gratefully and say how good Priest Wang was and how amazing he was. So that the Holy Medicine Shop business is much better. And many people call Pastor Wang, hanging pot to help the world, benevolence. Chapter 1528. 1528, Son of Light 1528? Go. The Art of Saving the World, Benevolence and Benevolence. On the afternoon of the 8th day, Wang Xian looked at the plaque hanging in the room and smiled. Pastor Wang, this is a gift from the people who have been healed by you. Old Hu pointed at the items under the plaque and said to him, Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head and walked over to pick up a box on the table. When he opened the box, he saw a bright pearl inside and was astonished. A bright pearl of the 3rd level of the void interpretation stage was not cheap. Those people were really thoughtful. Don't let them send gifts in the future. I'll accept these items. Wang Xian said to Old Hu. All right. Old Hu nodded. Sir, I'm here. At this moment, a young man walked in respectfully and shouted, Come over, I'll show you again. Wang Xian said to the young man. The young man walked up to him and sized up the darkness soul in the young man's body. For 8 days, Wang Xian hadn't thought of a way to get rid of this darkness soul. Once a powerful light force entered his body, it would cause the darkness soul to resist. If things went wrong, the young man's life would be lost. Under the corrosion of the darkness soul, if he could suppress it, no one else could save him. Even the old ancestor of the Divine Light Empire could only deal with the extremely weak darkness soul. He couldn't even deal with the young man's darkness soul. One could imagine how terrifying the darkness soul was. The young man stood there respectfully. He wasn't the least bit dissatisfied with Priest Wang's unmoving gaze. On the contrary, he was extremely grateful. It was already an honor for a powerful priest of light to be willing to waste his time on him. He also knew how terrifying the darkness soul was. Suddenly, Wang Xian looked at the luminous pearl in his hand. His eyes flickered and emitted a faint luster. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Suddenly, he had a faint idea. The soul of darkness was similar to the dragon pearl. The nurtured dragon pearl could transform into a divine dragon to fight. The dragon pearl didn't need to be controlled to be able to fight. In essence, it was similar to the soul of darkness. Using the dragon pearl to destroy the soul of darkness. This method shouldn't be a problem. Wang Xian stood up slowly. A faint smile appeared on his face. Go back first. Look for me in 10 days. By then, I have 80% confidence. It's Reverend Wang. The young man raised his head. His eyes were filled with hope and excitement. He nodded immediately. Reverend Wang, you really have the confidence to solve it. Old Hu asked with a shocked expression. There is no darkness that can't be solved. I should be able to solve it in 10 days. Wang Xian revealed a confident expression. This made Old Hu's expression change. Wang Xian opened his interspatial ring and searched around. He found a luminous pearl. It was a luminous pearl of the 8th level of the void interpretation stage. Its level was much higher than the ones given by the patients. Wang Xian looked at the pearl of light and placed it into his mouth slowly. He walked to the balcony and began to nurture it with all his might. After 10 days, the pearl of light would be able to transform into the pearl of light and give birth to a sliver of intelligence. Time passed slowly. During the day, Wang Xian was still treating all kinds of patients every day and nurturing the pearl of light at night. As the number of people he treated increased, his reputation also became more and more famous. He treated patients for free for more than 10 days in a row. He treated more than 10,000 people in total. This selfless act touched many people. At first, Everyone thought that this was just the holy medicine clinic's publicity for the sake of reputation. But what they didn't expect was that it actually lasted for more than 10 days. This was definitely not for the sake of reputation, but because that Reverend Wang really treated patients selflessly. Another 10 days slowly passed, but the number of patients in front of the holy medicine clinic did not decrease. Many people who had heard of this from other places rushed over from thousands of miles away. There were still 7,000 to 8,000 people gathered at the entrance to treat patients. In the surroundings, passers-by looked over curiously and discussed animatedly. Oh, when we came, this holy medicine clinic was treating patients for free. Now, it's actually still free. Moreover, there are so many people lining up. A luxurious carriage slowly drove on the road. A woman in the carriage looked outside in surprise. It's true, and there are so many people outside. Another woman in the carriage also looked over in surprise. Your Highness, when you came here, it should be the first day. A young man was treated in the sacred medicine clinic for free, and more than 1,000 patients are treated every day. This priest Wang is very powerful. He is now known as the hanging earn salvation, benevolence, and benevolence. His evaluation is very high. He is quite famous among the priests of light. A woman said to the woman beside her, hanging earn salvation, benevolence, and benevolence? What a high evaluation. The woman in the middle showed a surprised expression. I would like to meet this priest Wang. Aunt Feng, send him an invitation and say that I invited him to visit the Radiant Villa. Sister Qingyan, could it be that you have taken a fancy to that priest Wang? What nonsense are you talking about? Shut up immediately. I'm just curious who has such a broad mind. If this is an old man, would sister still invite him over for a visit? It's all because he's a young man. He might be a handsome guy. The two women were playing around inside. In the holy medicine clinic, Wang Xian stood in the room and stared at the young man with his eyes closed. In front of Wang Xian, the luminous dragon pearl was emitting an extremely strong light energy. The entire room seemed to be in the midst of a dazzling white light. Old who was guarding outside. Wang Xian stared at the luminous dragon pearl, and his mind moved slightly. Buzz. In an instant, the white light that enveloped the surroundings dissipated instantly and was absorbed into the dragon pearl. Wang Xian held the dragon pearl and exerted force with his arm. The entire dragon pearl turned into a stream of energy. The energy slowly condensed into the form of the divine light dragon and swayed its body. He moved his palm gently and sliced open the young man's stomach. The divine light dragon entered his body directly. The divine light dragon belonged to a stream of energy that carried a trace of spiritual intelligence. It was the same for the soul of darkness. There was no difference between the two. Since it possesses spiritual intelligence, it will know fear and know how to avoid danger. Wang Xian mumbled as he stared at the divine dragon of light. The divine dragon of light swayed its body and charged directly at the soul of darkness. Roar. At the same time, a wave of dragon's might was emitted and suppressed the soul of darkness. Darkness. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was standing outside, extended his hand slowly. At this moment, his palm had turned pitch black. There were faint scales of the demonic dragon on it. In an instant, a black shadow escaped toward his palm. Wang Xian clenched his fist tightly and grabbed the soul of darkness into his hand. Success. Chapter 1529. 1529, Son of Light? The dove occupied the magpie's nest. The divine light dragon charged towards the soul of darkness and attracted it with pure darkness energy. The soul of darkness, which didn't have high intelligence, naturally wanted to charge towards the location of the darkness energy. However, Wang Xian easily caught it in his hand. Wang Xian stared at the soul of darkness. His eyes were sparkling. He didn't purify it but kept it. With a move of his arm, the divine dragon of light returned to his hand and turned into a dragon ball. It's done. Wang Xian waved his arm and a stream of energy healed the wound. He spoke to the young man calmly. The The young man opened his eyes and touched the spot on his abdomen. Following that, his body shook and a stream of light energy enveloped his entire body. It's done. Haha, I'm finally done. In Haoyan, have finally recovered. I've finally recovered. Thank you, Reverend Wang. Thank you, thank you. I will repay you for your kindness in the future, even if I have to work as a slave. An excited voice came out from the young man's mouth. He knelt in front of Wang Xian and kowtowed nonstop. A heaven's favorite was tortured to this day because of the soul of darkness. He was the only one who understood the hardships and mockery involved. Go back. You don't have to come back anymore. Wang Xian waved his hand and spoke to him indifferently. Then, he walked straight to the balcony. After grabbing the soul of darkness, he had a new understanding. When the young man saw Wang Xian walking to the balcony, he clenched his fists in gratitude. Reverend Wang, you are the one who gave me this life. Thank you. He kowtowed heavily once again and walked out with a determined gaze. He was reborn. Wang Xian did not answer him. Instead, he stared at the soul of darkness in front of him. His eyes were sparkling. This soul of darkness is exactly the same as the intelligence that was born in the dragon pearl. Wang Xian thought to himself as he sensed the location of his heart. At this moment, the light portion of the heart of light and darkness had reached more than 40%. At most, it would take 5 days for the light and darkness to maintain balance. The problem of the balance between light and darkness has basically been solved. The next step is the fusion of light and darkness. The fusion of light and darkness is much more troublesome than the balance between light and darkness. I can refer to Tai Chi or the 5 elements grinding. Wang Xian was deep in thought. With a move of his palm, a ball of Tai Chi appeared in front of him. Buzz, buzz, buzz. However, very soon, the powers of darkness and light collided and produced a melting sound. Following that, Wang Xian continued to use the same amount of light and darkness to form a Tai Chi pattern, causing the forces of light and darkness to rotate. At this moment, Wang Xian realized that the speed of the melting of light and darkness had slowed down. With a thought, he accelerated the speed of the rotation of Tai Chi. He realized that when the speed was maintained to a certain extent, the forces of darkness and light would no longer melt. It felt like they were chasing each other, but neither of them could catch up to the other. There's still another problem. I can't control the heart of light and darkness to rotate all the time. Wang Xian frowned slowly. He had been doing this for 5 hours. Haha, I finally understand. The 5 elements grinding has merged with the 5 elemental dragon pearl. There are 5 divine dragons pulling it. On the Taiji diagram, there are 2 black and white spots in opposite positions. You can also use the divine dragons to pull it. A strong luster shot out from Wang Xian's eyes. His eyes revealed an excited expression. It had only been a month. It had only been a month. He had finally figured it out. It was just a matter of time before he could completely control the heart of light and darkness. Wang Xian clenched his fists tightly. His entire body was extremely relaxed. During this period of time, he had been tortured by the heart of light and darkness. For the heart of light and darkness, he even became a priest of light. Now, he could finally heave a sigh of relief. However, Wang Xian didn't stop treating him for free the next day. Currently, the balance between light and darkness had yet to be achieved. Priest Wang, someone has sent an invitation to invite you over as a guest. In the evening of the second day, a female receptionist ran over and handed him an invitation. Wang Xian looked over and took the invitation letter. On it were the words, Guangming Villa. Guangming Villa. When Old Hu saw these words, he was slightly shocked and shouted in shock. Uncle Hu, do you know this Guangming Villa? Wang Xian looked at him and asked curiously. Yes, Guangming Villa. It is the residence of Princess Wu Qingyan from Wuji Empire. Old Hu said with a solemn face. Wuji Empire. Wang Xian was slightly stunned. His eyes were sparkling. Uncle Hu, tell me about this Princess Wu Qingyan. He did not know this Princess Wu Qingyan at all. Even when he came to the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, He did not leave the holy medicine clinic. He did not know why Wu Qingyan invited him. Princess Wu Qingyan is also known as the Daughter of Light. Since young, this princess does not like to kill. She is under the tutelage of the radiant priest of the Divine Light Empire. Now that she has the cultivation of the second level of the void interpretation stage, the Radiant Villa was specially built by the Emperor of the Wuji Empire for Princess Wu Qingyan. Princess Wu Qingyan must have heard of your reputation and invited you over. Old Who introduced Wang Xian. Oh, I see. Wang Xian nodded and walked towards the balcony. Pastor Wang, you're not going? This is an invitation from the Princess of Wuji Empire. Old Who looked at Wang Xian, who was sitting there motionlessly with a stunned expression on his face. I don't have the time. Wang Xian shook his head. He wasn't interested in this invitation at all. Old Who was stunned for a moment before he shook his head bitterly. He couldn't understand this mysterious and powerful young man. Sister Qingyan, did you really invite that priest Wang who saved the world from the hanging jar? I heard that this priest Wang is very young, very handsome, and very powerful. Haha, this time I want to see if it is as the rumors say. At this moment, in the Radiant Mountain Villa, a group of young men and women were sitting in front of a courtyard building. A girl said loudly with a face full of surprise. Why are you so clear-faced? Why are you so excited? Why don't I introduce you to Priest Wang later? Wu Qingyan looked at her sister and teased. Che, I don't like priests of light. I like the kind of strong people who exude a gloomy temperament and evil aura. Sister, you only like this kind of people. Wu Qingyan retorted. Hee, Princess Qingyan, we would like to see if this priest Wang is as the rumors say. At the side, a young man holding a staff had a hint of jealousy in his eyes. He said indifferently, I would like to see his light skill. That priest Wang should have some ability. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to treat so many people every day. However, compared to the Daughter of Light, Princess Qingyan, and the Son of Light, the Prince of Light, there is still a gap. That's true. Those who went to see the doctor were all weak people. Naturally, the treatment wouldn't be that difficult. A few men and women on the side said, I'm also very curious about his strength. We'll know when he comes. Princess Wu Qingyan said with a smile. Chapter 1530. 1531,530 Children of Light? Below. Inside the Radiant Mountain Villa, Princess Wu Qingyan was conversing with a group of young men and women. This group of people were all young elites of the Divine Light Empire who cultivated the light attribute. They were the most outstanding prodigies of the entire Divine Light Empire. Among them were the princes of the Divine Light Empire, the Children of Light who were also priests of light, the prodigies of the second level of the Insight Void tier. It's already 7 o'clock. Why isn't that priest Wang here yet? Sister, when did you invite that priest Wang over? After about an hour, Wu Qingyan asked Wu Qingyan with a slight frown. He only mentioned the night and didn't say the exact time. He might rush over later. Wu Qingyan frowned slightly and then said with a smile. Our Princess Qingyan invited him, but he came so late. He doesn't give us face. The young man called Son of Light said with a cold smile in his eyes. His words made Wu Qingyan's eyes twinkle. She was slightly dissatisfied with this priest Wang. Maybe that priest Wang is nervously making preparations. A girl teased. It's possible. Wu Qingyan nodded in agreement. Everyone in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom knew who lived in the Radiant Mountain Villa. The princess of the Wuji Empire, one of the 3 strongest forces in the vast region, the princess of the empire. No one would not give her face. Not to mention a young priest. Wu Qingyan took a sip of tea and waited in a relaxed manner. However, time slowly passed. By 8 o'clock, the sky had completely turned dark, but there was still no sign of anyone. That priest Wang won't not come, right? A girl frowned as she watched the sky turn completely dark. The surrounding people also looked at each other. That priest Wang had actually rejected Princess Wu Qingyan's invitation. Even the Son of Light had not expected that Priest Wang would be so disrespectful. Could it be that something has delayed him? Wu Qingyin looked at her sister and said softly, I don't know. Let's call it a day. Wu Qingyin's expression was a little ugly as she stood up and said, Qingyin, that fellow is so disrespectful. Do you want me to teach him a lesson? The Son of Light raised his eyebrows and said directly, No need. Others might be delayed. Wu Qingyin shook her head and waved at them. That Priest Wang actually stood Princess Qingyin up. This guy is too bold. Yeah, Princess Qingyin is a little angry. Seeing Princess Qingyin leave, the surrounding youths whispered. The Son of Light, who was standing in the middle, had a glint in his eyes, and the corners of his mouth curled up. Aunt Feng, help me check what that Priest Wang is doing right now. Walking into the house from a courtyard, Wu Qingyin said directly to a woman beside her. It's Her Highness the Princess. The old woman nodded and immediately left. That Priest Wang really has a personality. Sister, you didn't even come with your invitation. Wu Qingyin said with a smile. What personality? HMPH, it's best if I know that he didn't come because he had something to do. If I know that he deliberately didn't come, I'll teach him a lesson. Wu Qingyin clenched her fists and said angrily. That's right, that's right. Beat up that pretty boy. The Priest of Light's boys are all cowards. Just beat him up. Wu Qingyin said with a smile. Princess Qingyin, that Priest Wang is drinking tea on the balcony. Not long after, the old woman walked in and reported to Wu Qingyin. What? Drinking tea? This guy. Wu Qingyin widened her eyes and looked angry. She was the princess of Wuji dynasty. She invited him over as a guest, but he didn't even come over to drink tea at home. This made her look angry. This guy, we can't tolerate it. We can't tolerate it. Wu Qingyin, who was beside her, also widened her eyes and clenched her fists. Let's go, sister. Let's go and beat that guy up. Let him be so arrogant. Let's go. Wu Qingyin's expression changed. She gritted her teeth and nodded heavily. They were originally the princesses of Wuji Empire. In the entire vast region, no one dared to provoke her, and no one dared to disobey them. This caused them to have small tempers. In the past, when they invited someone, they would all come over respectfully. Now, that guy was actually sitting at home drinking tea. I can't stand it. Qingyin, come, let's go. Wu Qingyin immediately stood up. Beside her, Qingyin's face was also filled with excitement, and she looked eager to give it a try. The two immediately walked towards the Holy Medicine Shop's location. The night sky in the Kingdom of God ruins was very dark. However, on both sides of the street, there were bright lights. Wu Qingyin and Wu Qingyin rode on a horse carriage and came to the front of the Holy Medicine Clinic. They immediately walked inside. The three of you, are you going to? The two female receptionists said. The woman at the side waved her arm. They felt slightly dazed and looked in front of them in a daze. What's going on? I'm actually feeling a little sleepy. The two female receptionists knocked on their heads and braced themselves. That guy is on the 4th floor. Let's go. The two of them walked towards the 4th floor aggressively. Wang Xian was the only person on the entire 4th floor. The two of them looked at the closed door and pushed it open. Crash. Wang Xian, who was sitting on the balcony, frowned slightly when he heard the door being opened suddenly. He immediately looked outside. When he saw the two ladies staring behind him, he raised his eyebrows slightly. We don't receive patients at night. Wang Xian looked at them and said calmly, Don't receive patients? They said that they were patients. When the two of them heard Wang Xian's words, they immediately revealed a sullen expression. Looking at Wang Xian, who was drinking tea with an indifferent expression, Wu Qingyin became angrier the more she looked at him. I am the daughter of light, Wu Qingyin. I am here to ask about Priest Wang's strength. Take this. As Wu Qingyin spoke, she waved her arm and shouted coldly, Exorcism. The daughter of light? Wu Qingyin? Wang Xian looked at Wu Qingyin, who was charging towards him and attacking him directly. A hint of coldness flashed across his eyes. He stared at the supernatural ability that was attacking him and focused his gaze. The supernatural ability exorcism collapsed immediately when it was about to reach him. The power of light that had yet to dissipate condensed into the supernatural ability exorcism and attacked Wu Qingyan directly. What? How is this possible? Wu Qingyan looked shocked when she saw Wang Xian's attack. She waved her arm. Hand of Divine Light. The Dharma idol that she had comprehended from the first level of the see-through realm met the attack directly. She dispelled the evil and continued to attack Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked at the Hand of Divine Light and slowly lifted his teacup. Buzz. Just as the Hand of Divine Light was about to reach Wang Xian, it collapsed once again. Following that, under Wu Qingyan's incredulous gaze, another Hand of Divine Light condensed and attacked her. The old lady who had been standing at the back narrowed her eyes slightly, and a look of vigilance appeared on her face. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.